these streets, in this city, take a listen. What do you hear? The sounds of a game, right? But also the legacy of an icon. It's been almost 25 years since MJ's last game here, but you can still feel what he meant to this town. Proving yourself as the greatest of all time will earn you that kind of staying power. Of course, there are plenty of other paths to our hearts, like breaking a century-old curse, revealing pure grit on ice, or shuffling your way into history. They're all part of forever here, all a part of the streets these guys are about to take over.
Hell yeah!
They know a thing or two about living on the edge, thriving in traffic, and embracing chaos. Which is a real good thing, considering they've never raced on a course quite like this. Never taken over a city, turned it into a playground for speed. It's Independence Day weekend, and here in Chicago, listen to what that's gonna sound like today at the Grant Park 220, right downtown.
We are in Chicago's front yard for NASCAR Cup Series Chicago Street Race, the Grant Park 220. And we knew it was going to be a record-setting weekend, a record-setting and historic time for NASCAR. In the 75-year history of NASCAR, they have never run on a street course. Well, another record has been broken today, and it's not official yet because the rain continues to come down, but the record for rain in one day in Chicago on July 2nd used to be 2 inches, just over 2 inches. We're well past that now, and that is why the drivers are not currently in their cars, and you see the cars earlier had been covered up. There's Kyle Larson making his way to a driver lounge. We're going to be able to talk to a few drivers here in just a little bit, but we're under a weather delay, and a lot of fans that have watched NASCAR will say, well, I know they have wet weather tires. Why aren't they going to be able to run in the rain? Steve, explain a little bit of the extreme conditions we're seeing right now.
Well, basically it comes down to the track can be wet, but we can't have standing water, and you mentioned it, the amount of rain is just so severe. The visibility would be near impossible, and the standing water would be impossible to race in. You would lose control. So we want to see talents tested. This is a little bit too severe of the rainfall, which is really unfortunate because what a weekend it's been, Jeff. This racetrack is unbelievable. Really a world-class 12-turn road course right here in the city streets.
Yeah, it's been a fun weekend. The racetrack has really surprised some drivers. There was a little bit of nervousness coming here, first street course race like you mentioned, and they got on track and they're like, wow, this is a great little racetrack. And so unfortunately the rain has come in, and NASCAR is just not going to send them out there in unsafe conditions, and we're learning that. In over 73 years NASCAR never ran in the rain, and so they just recently started doing it, and now they're learning. And last year they went a few times, it was too much rain, had some issues, so now NASCAR is going to really check it out, get the driver's input, and make a decision when it's safe to go on this racetrack.
When the rain does let up and they're able to get those standing water areas off of the course, this is what it looks like. So you go into turn 1 here. You're on Columbus Drive. You're going to hang a left on Balboa.
Yeah, left on Balboa to turn 2, another slow right-hand corner, first gear, now to the longest straightaway, right down Lakeshore Drive, north of 150 miles an hour, into turn 4, 5, a sweeping right-hand complex.
Yeah, it really is, and look how quickly turn 5 comes up. You can really use a lot of that racetrack. Check this straight out. It is forever long. And look what you're looking at, those tall skyscrapers. Another left-hander into turn 6. And, Steve, it actually crosses a bridge uphill, then it goes downhill into 7.
Downhill, that elevation into turn 7 makes braking very difficult. Then this is what I consider the technical side. Michigan Ave, Congress Plaza, back to Michigan Ave. A sweeping left-hander down into a, once again, 90-degree turn 11 over another bridge.
Yeah, another bridge uphill, then downhill, and then again another right-hander onto turn 12, and then another long straight. So you think about street courses, you don't think about long straights, but this one has it, and that's a great opportunity for passing, braking zones. That differentiates this course from others.
And it has been a challenge. Just as in qualifying, turns 4 and 5, Austin Cindric just gets free into the corner, corrects, ends up running out of real estate, which we're going to say a lot. Not a lot of room right here. Same corner, William Byron. Not a big mistake, just no runoff. Has some damage to the left rear.
And look at this. We talked about how narrow it is. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., boom, big head impact on the left. But it happened on the right because it initially happened on the right side because you're trying to use every bit of the racetrack. You want to be right against the curb. Chase Elliott, same mistake. Right against the wall on the right side, hits the wall, and it shoots his car to the left.
Yeah, he was actually just trying to find some time at qualifying. Listen. Oh, 10,000-pound concrete block. That's what the walls are made of. And then Kevin Harvick into turn 1. Different corner, same story. Contact to the left, ends up going straight into the barriers on the right.
How about Denny Hamlin? Here he is, winning the pole for the inaugural race on the street course, and that is a big deal. You think about the Toyotas last year, they did not have speed. Denny Hamlin, one of our veteran drivers, embracing something new, goes out, sits on the pole. He was exceptionally proud of it.
And for someone we've seen emotion out of with race wins, there was real emotion in the car when he heard that lap time. He knows the significance of this race. He wants that FedEx Toyota leading the field.
Yeah, he knows it's a historic moment. The first ever street course race, and he is going to lead the field to the green flag when the course is ready. And we'll take a look at the starting grid as far as where everyone will start for this race. Tyler Reddick, interesting situation. He drives for 23XI, which is co-owned by Denny Hamlin and somebody familiar with Chicago, Michael Jordan. And so those two will be on the front row.
And some names that you perhaps aren't familiar with. We have Shane Van Gisbergen right there in second. He is from New Zealand, runs an Australian supercars. Very impressive, making his first stock car start in NASCAR. He'll start in row 2 next to Christopher Bell. You see Suarez, McDowell, Larson, and yes, that is the former world champ from F1, Jenson Button, inside the top 10.
A.J. Allmendinger down there in the 10th starting position.
See some good road racers in row 8. Chase Briscoe, Blaney, Busch, all those guys really good on road races. They have a way to go to get to the front.
Yeah, great qualifying run, I thought, for Corey LaJoie inside there, the front 10 rows. We see William Byron, because of those repairs, he'll have to go to the back. All of row 13 is going to the back. Gilliland and Chase Elliott, Josh Bilicki, Ryan Preece, Andy Lally. We see him show up some on the scene for some of these different road courses. He'll be back there next to Austin Dillon in row 15.
Very talented at left and right-hand turns. We saw Austin Cindric also get into the wall slightly there in 4 and 5, so he has to go back just a couple spots.
And last week's winner. You want to run the Cup Series, you want to be humbled, win a race 1 week, and then come and qualify row 17th the next week. That's how difficult this series is.
Yeah, 0-0 for Ross Chastain, winning in Nashville 1 week ago, and now he'll have to start near the back of the field. We are located now in Grant Park, and I mentioned it earlier, they call it Chicago's front yard. Well, just a little bit to the north of us is Navy Pier, has a beautiful Ferris wheel. Willis Tower, when it was built, the tallest skyscraper in the world. And then you have Cloud Gate, which is actually better known as the Beam. So many pictures taken in front of there. Grant Park has the Buckingham Fountain, such a beautiful landmark there right in the middle of Grant Park. And of course, DeSable Lakeshore Drive, so famous, running up and down Lake Michigan here in Chicago. Field Museum, Shedd Aquarium, Adler Planetarium. That was the first planetarium in the Western Hemisphere, and that is all right around Soldier Field, the oldest NFL stadium still active in America. So such history and so many great places for people that are coming to visit Chicago right here in Grant Park. And NASCAR starts off the very first street course race in Grant Park.
And the whole week has really had a completely different feel, right? Instead of being at a racetrack out, you know, in the suburban area or even the country, all the teams, the drivers are staying right downtown, walking in the facility. The fans, you can see the curiosity walking around the streets of Chicago. Some NASCAR fans excited to be here. Some sports fans wondering what's going on the other side of those barriers. When the cars fired up and started making laps early Saturday morning, you could definitely see heads turn throughout the city.
Yeah, I'm positioned on a perch outside of turn 11, and I'm overlooking Michigan Avenue, and all the people in the city are walking up and down the streets. And when the Cup cars went by, I saw a lot of fingers in ears. I saw a lot of, what is that? It was so much enthusiasm and fun. fans climbing fences, climbing trees, climbing lights to see what was happening. It was a really cool and will be a really cool atmosphere.
Yeah, so inquisitive. This is the situation, and it's been this way. It's kind of circled over the top of Chicago. The good thing is, I will tell you, this is the best it's looked all day. So it's getting better, and we're expecting the rain to lighten up to the point where we can get the track cleared off, and we can see the cars on this course.
Well, I think that's the key, right? In years past, perhaps we needed quite a bit of time to dry the track. Not anymore. We get out of that yellow, the dark green. We get to some lighter rain. There's a lot of equipment here that could quickly move the standing water off the racetrack, and then we'll be to racing action. And I will tell you, starting in the rain can actually just intensify a race that I already think is going to be pretty intense off the start, right? The big decision to go from wet tires to dry tires, it's going to be a challenge for both the drivers. There's Ty Gibbs right there. Smile.
Let's see that helmet.
Still wearing a helmet.
But, you know, I think that's the key, right? You see the smile. He's disappointed the weather's bad, but all these drivers have this enthusiasm to get out there and put this show on.
We mentioned we are right in the middle of Grant Park, and there have been so many historic moments that have taken place right where we are today.
With liberty and justice for all.
This was our last dance, and it was a wonderful waltz.
Tonight, because of what we did on this day, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
Chicago! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? World Championship Day.
One of the biggest things to happen in NASCAR in its 75-year history.
These guys have no idea what to expect. They've never been on a course like this.
It's going to be wild. To be so narrow, we shove each other so wide every corner.
So proud of you, Denny.
There's not going to be a whole lot of room for error.
If it happens once or twice or 10 times, it'll be cool to say that I ran that race.
Hell yeah! What a car, guys!
It's a risky event because there's a lot of things we just don't know. It's the unknown, but that's what makes things interesting.
You definitely want to be the guy that can find the victory lane first.
17 races complete, this being the 18th. We take a look at the playoff standings, and William Byron, Kyle Busch, both have won 3 races already this year. Everyone in yellow, they're locked into the playoffs because of a win. 16 spots available for those playoffs. Are there surprises of names that you see on this list, or maybe that you don't see?
Well, I think the surprise for me is just how tight it is. You see Daniel Suarez to Alex Bowman only 2 points. And think about Alex Bowman. He had to sit out due to injury, so he's trying to bounce back. But really, Michael McDowell back at 20th. That's the name I'm looking for today. This is a driver who has open wheel experience at a street course. He's a Daytona 500 winner. He knows how to win, and a win would just vault him right to being in yellow. That would take the pressure off.
Yeah, A.J. Allmendinger falls in that also. He's a really good road racer. He has street course experience. 19th, he could win this race. But the guy we don't see, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, this year, he was suspended for a race. He had an injury. He was out for several races. He is all the way down in 25th. Some people think he can point himself into the playoffs. I'm not one of those people. I think he has to win. Remember, in this playoff standings, the way it works is if you win a race, you're in. And I feel like he's far enough back in points where he has to win.
Looks to me like Martin Truex Jr. with 2 wins already kind of turned some things around from a year ago. He has been so successful over the last 7 seasons in NASCAR's top series. Looks like he's gaining some more traction there. A guy who will start on the front row, Tyler Reddick, is now standing by with Dave Burns.
Rick, thanks so much. And we're inside the Art Institute right here in downtown Chicago. And Tyler, you saw earlier in the lineup there on the front row for Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin's team. So let me start there, Tyler. Just knowing that this event is coming to Chicago and driving for Michael, what's that been like to be here doing this?
Well, honestly, it's just it's always really fun to come to Chicago. You know, I have a lot of good family and friends that live here, and pretty much every off season we make a trip up here. So I was really excited to be here, and still really excited to be here. And it's just cool to be up here in the summer months. Normally can't do that.
That's right. And in downtown here, we built this track, NASCAR did, around the city streets. What was it like when you first hit it? And did you hit it, or did you feel like, nah, I'm going to really need some laps here?
Yeah, I definitely don't think my pace taking off in practice was really all that great. I had to definitely work up to it. I think certainly, some of the corners that had got a really good feel for getting ready for this event. I was comfortable. I was good there, and then I got into reality, if you will, and just wasn't really maximizing probably the back half of the racetrack. So that was just something I had to work our way up to. Billy and everybody on the 45 did a good job in practice to finding me some more grip, give me some more comfort, and we were able to close in on it in qualifying. I thought we had it for about a second or two. We did, and then unfortunately Denny was just a little bit faster. So it's frustrating for sure. I know I made a few mistakes along the way and definitely left at least the time that it was out there.
That darn car owner, Denny Hamlin, but he was good. You took the risk-reward factor pretty much to the heights there in qualifying then. I mean, how did you do that, knowing that you'd seen guys bounce off barriers, knowing that it was this close, and that you had a car that had the potential?
Yeah, it was really tricky for us. To end the first round, we had some issues with the transaxle. Based off what had happened, I didn't even know if we were going to be able to really put a lap down in round 2. But it was the issue did not repeat, and so certainly we were really worried about it. I didn't know if we were going to have to go to the back or not. Thankfully, we were able to look into it, and X-Track was able to check it out and not find any issues. But certainly, that was living in the back of my mind. I didn't want to go out there and try and go for the pole if we're going for the back anyways. So thankfully, there was nothing wrong with the transaxle. And honestly, everyone at the team at 2311, all the men and women there, have done a really good job preparing for this race. Toyota TRD done outstanding work giving us the ability to make laps and get the car as close as it is as well.
And I feel like you, the driver, were on the radar of a lot of people after last year at the Indy Road Course, this year at Circuit of the Americas with your win there. Flashing back to that just a little bit, what was that like setting you up for a weekend like this?
To be able to go out and win at COTA was really special. That was a track that I've really enjoyed racing at in my career, whether it's been in NASCAR or other series, and been able to win there and some other events, and I've always wanted to get that cup win there. It was my first pole, first win with 2311, so that was really special for sure. So it's been a great process to improve the road course program. All the Toyotas are running a lot better, and we just got to keep it rolling. We just got to keep searching for more, and we'll see what happens here today or whenever we get going. I'm hoping it's today, but if it's wet, it's going to be a whole new challenge, and hopefully we can just keep up with it.
Let me ask you about that challenge with the wet streets out there. You have the wet weather tires from Goodyear, but it's a whole different game. How do you approach it?
It's tough. I mean, a place like Watkins Glen, we've ran at before in the wet conditions. I've had some drivers that I could kind of chase around there with a lot of experience on wet condition tracks, and here no one really knows because it's never been ran in the wet before. So I think with just kind of the nature of the corners and everything, I don't know how much exploring everyone's going to be able to do. I think it's just going to be a gradual pickup. If someone really finds something and they're going to be able to maximize it, you might see some separation through the field. But just with the different surfaces this track has, there's some really interesting areas like turn 4, turn 7, where it's a street course, right? You don't have a lot of room. You don't have a lot of runoff. So if you're going to make a mistake, it's going to be day ending for the most part. So that's going to be a very big battle in your head, right inside the car. Risk versus reward every corner.
We're going to have you walk us through one of your laps there. We're going to look at this on board with Tyler Reddick. Talk us through what we're seeing here.
I don't know which lap it is, so I don't know if I was worried about, making all the shifts. I'm guessing this is a round 2 lap. Would you know?
I wouldn't know. They might tell me here in a second.
Well, Harvick hadn't wrecked yet. He wrecked the end of round 1, right? So, yeah, maybe this is the lap that, I had the issue with the transaxle. But as you come out of turn 2 here, you really just got to get a good exit off turn 2, get your speed up as high as you can. Seems like the faster you get off turn 2, you get through 3 better. It's just so tricky right through here. You try and get the braking done, but you can't use a lot of pressure just because it'll unhook the back of the car. This turn 5 has been real surprising. It's been gaining so much grip. It's concrete. We see that at concrete events that we go to that just picks up grip. This is really a bumpy straightaway, but it's not been as bad as others have thought. This braking zone's actually pretty solid. You can get yourself in a little bit of trouble, but you land on that fresh pavement for a second, and then you're back going into turn 7. This is the one that I struggled with most of the weekend. That huge bump right there, just not really comfortable. But you can really get through 8 pretty strong, 7 pretty strong. And again, turn 8 is another one that's just been high risk, not a lot of reward, but it's been really surprising how much grip the next-gen car has here at this track. You can really fly through this section. Turn 10 is another one that's so much fun. Just this braking zone's really rough. And then you try and fly off of this corner here without hitting the turn 11 wall, and that's kind of the lap. But it's just been really incredible how much different the pace, the grip of the track depends from the surface you're on. You know, turn 12 and turn 1, you just can bury it off in there because it's a brand new surface. As the surface gets older and it becomes concrete, it's just totally different in every braking zone.
I'm watching the skyline there. It's just so incredible. Did you get distracted at all?
I didn't wreck, so no.
Was just not distracted enough, Rick, to keep it in line. And as we mentioned before, Tyler Reddick, second in qualifying. He'll start on the front row. And great to see for them. Again, Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin's team he drives for him. That's Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. And to give you a perspective, this road course is 2.2 miles through the streets of Chicago, and he just did that lap in 90 seconds. So you think about that. If you go 60 miles an hour down the highway, it takes you 2 minutes to go 2 miles. He did 90 seconds, so a minute and a half over 2.2 miles. So impressive. We had mentioned 2311. The other driver for 2311 who drives the number 23, Bubba Wallace, is now with us.
Yeah, let's chat with him, Rick, and it was so cool. There are suites. We're literally on the racetrack, by the way, in turn 12 underneath the bridge. Thank goodness, right, Bubba? There are suites right here. Fans are still in them, and all the way down pit road, they were shouting your name. You're a popular guy here in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, it's been fun. The time here in Chicago has been really good. Wednesday night was a big success with Bubba's block party. I think all the sponsors that are on my suit are 3/4 of the sponsors that are on the track. So we're standing underneath the McDonald's bridge. They've done a lot for me. Here's some highlights from the party. Super cool. Had a lot of fun. Lupe killed it on the show, so I appreciate him. The pit crew got their spotlight, got some reps in. So it's a lot of hype coming into it, and then hearing just new fans and the conversations that they were having at dinner or at breakfast. You know, I was kind of trying to eavesdrop, and they were all excited. So it's cool to be here in the city. Mother Nature, obviously, she shows up every weekend, but it's just kind of killing the vibe a little bit. But we just got to try to stay positive about it. And yeah, it's been good though. On track stuff, we survived yesterday.
Road courses aren't your thing.
Yeah, no, they're not. I had a mindset of just kind of surviving and getting by. And when we ran that lap of what we did, and we were P14, just missed the cutoff, I was really pumped, happy for our team. So it's been good. You know, obviously the competitive side of me kicks in immediately after a couple of turns, and it's like, you can be better than what you're doing right now, so try it. But that's when the mistakes come. So just trying to balance that fine line of being conservative, but, you know, being on edge too is a lot. But having fun. Just wish it was dry and wish we were racing.
I want to ask you about the last shot that we showed there in that video from Bubba's block party, and you mentioned the new fans. I saw you talking to that young man. How often does that happen, where a young man may come up to you and say, hey, how do I get to where you are?
Yeah, he's actually a go-kart racer, and I was actually able to meet him and his pops, and just kind of telling him, like, you know, he's starting out, and just kind of what to expect. You know, not every race is going to be your race, and manage those expectations. Learn why you lost, cherish why you won, but learn from those tough moments and try to be a better person each and every time, and get ready. I said the next rung on the ladder that you climb is going to get harder. So when you get to that next level, don't get dejected so soon when all the tools in your toolbox don't work, because you're meant to have a bigger toolbox, and you got to stack up some more tools. So it comes with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but able to share that message with him and just try to better prepare himself for the future was really special.
Speaking of cherishing wins, do you go back and watch Kansas at all and kind of relive that memory?
All the time. That and Talladega.
We'll give you another opportunity right here.
Yeah, that's good. No, that was a good day right there. That was one of those ones where the way we won that one hadn't happened for a long time for me. So, you know, we are riding that momentum still, and we have that same amount of confidence right now. So, and it's earlier in the season too. We still got a lot of races left before the playoffs start. So, we're ahead of the cut line, but there's still a lot of opportunities. So we got to go out and execute.
It's been almost 25 years since your boss, Michael Jordan, played in this town, but you know what this town did for him and what he did for this town. Do you have an extra sense of urgency knowing you're driving for the GOAT who came for the Bulls here?
Yeah, no doubt. I know, there's a lot of hype around Chicago and for our team and just, what it means to be here. So we're all excited. We just got to go out and execute and have a good day, and whether that's today or tomorrow, so we'll be fine.
There you go. So we have used the bridge to its fullest extent, Rick. It's given us a little bit of shelter here. Bubba Wallace, as he mentioned, doesn't love road course racing, but he's still having fun here in the streets of Chicago.
Well, Marty, we're going to use that bridge for the fans, too. So obviously, for this moment, it was stopping the rain from getting to you guys, but the fans will come in and out of the inside of the course there, too, using that McDonald's bridge. One of the surprises, I think, of yesterday when we saw practice and qualifying has to be Shane Van Gisbergen. And the reason I say that is a surprise is because when you look at his statistics as far as NASCAR goes, 0. He has never started a Cup Series race before. But his resume of racing is incredible.
Oh, it's it's so impressive, right? A 3-time champ, 80 career wins in supercars. We remember the name Marcus Ambrose. That's kind of the same area we saw Marcus. But it did take Marcus a little bit of time, Dave. Shane seems to have picked it up almost overnight. He's been smiles all weekend. He's been fun to watch.
Well, I know it was nerve-wracking for him, too, right? Because he's very good in a sedan, if you will. But it's not the same car. And you just had to get in this and find out if it would even work, right?
It's been a pretty crazy whirlwind trying to get used to these things, and I had a short test on Monday at Charlotte Roval, and then thrown in the deep end yesterday, but seemed pretty good, got comfortable. I struggled with the walls, like the whole car's on the other side, so I left a few gaps on some corners more than I should have, but yeah, got the hang of it.
That's right. In Australia, you have a right drive car. Here it's on the left, and we're going to show a picture of your car. Let's stay on that theme right now. Give folks an idea of the differences mainly between supercars and the stock car here in NASCAR.
Well, that's probably the biggest thing is you're on the other side, but there's no doors in this thing. We have doors, and then the windows as well on the side. It's a bit weird driving with an open cockpit, but they're fairly similar weights. We're about 300 kilos or 250 kilos lighter. Not sure what that is in your language, but our street circuits are fairly different. As you can see, we run the curbs, whereas here all the apexes are walls. But yeah, you can really feel the weight of the car in this, but they sit very flat and stiff. They don't roll very much, and there's no wings over the top in these cars, so they make all the downforce on the floor of the car, so you can see everyone struggling on the bumps. It's a fine line between stiffness and aerodynamics. So
and as I see your car there, Shane, I noticed the side mirrors. I understand for a supercars driver, one of the things to do to get your proximity is to actually tick the mirror on the wall. You don't have one on the next-gen NASCAR car, so you didn't tick the fender or anything, did you?
Yeah, I actually got the tire. I took the Goodyear off the tire, but it's hard not having the feelers, we call them, to sort of feel where you are on the track. You sort of had a couple of rubs, and you knew you were a bit close. But the spotters are really handy. That's nothing. I've never had anything really like that before. So talking me around the track where people were and where the brakes are locking and stuff, it's quite different.
Something else you do differently, the next-gen car has sequential shifting. There's a clutch there. They don't often use it. You heel toe in the traditional way. Explain how that works here.
Yeah, everyone's got a bit of a foot fetish. It's a bit weird for me. That's just normal for me. We always right foot brake and blip on the down change. We use it a bit to control the rear locking. So I was doing it sometimes a bit, but quite different. But it seems normal to us. We have a flat shift system on the way up. On here, you have to lift the throttle very quickly on the up change, where we just hold it flat over there.
So as we were looking at that, then you're obviously very quick. You were third in qualifying. Yeah. So is that a speed secret? Many people were wondering, well, maybe I should be flipping the clutch a little bit here, too.
I don't think so. It's probably a little bit of an advantage for me. Like a third of our race is probably a street circuit. So right from the start, I was comfortable with the walls. And I watched practice last night, and you could see everyone creeping up on it, whereas I was sort of there straight away. So in the race, I think you'll find everyone get a lot quicker throughout the field, and the differences will be a lot smaller. So I'm glad now I'm already up the front, but if I was in 20th or something, it'd be crazy.
Shane, I know you consume a lot of video when your car is on track or off track. We want you to take us around the circuit here with a lap. This is your actual fast lap in qualifying.
Okay, yeah. Well, the biggest thing is the alternate start-finish line. So I've never had that before, where you don't start the lap on the start straight. So this corner was interesting. You can see where the new seal is. It had really big grip. and you'll see into the next corner, turn 1, halfway through the corner, it changes to old seal, and you just lose all grip. So you turn in here, and then all of a sudden the grip just goes and you can't put the power down. And then it's the complete opposite onto the back straight. You have no grip now on braking, so you kind of push the entry to get onto that good seal to get the good exit. And then here, which is going to be real treacherous today, the concrete in the wet. You can feel every slip between the grip surface. It's going to be super tough.
Hard, fast braking down into 4?
Yeah, just the bumps unsettle it. You know, these cars on the bump stops, they don't really travel so nice. And you'll see here I struggle to put the power down as well. It's just so bumpy. Like, we never race on the concrete like this, and it's very tough. Same here on the brakes, like very low grip on the concrete, and then as you turn in, you get the good seal again. So many different surfaces and changes, it makes it very difficult to know what you're going to have. And then down here, it's a big bump. It's probably the slowest corner on the track. And then the next one's where I'm struggling with the most, with the car on the other side, getting a good reference to the inside wall. And then here's pretty cool. You can kind of flow. I was up a gear, I think, to most guys looking at data. And then through here is awesome with the bumps. And then you got to slow it down, trying to keep control and cross the line as quick as you can.
Last question, Shane. Project 91, your car number is 91. Yep. This is a project for champions to come in and witness NASCAR and do what they do well. What was your thought when you were sort of chosen to do this?
Yeah, it was pretty humbling to be chosen, you know, and stack up against Kimi Räikkönen. I guess he was the first driver. So, yeah, it's a great opportunity. And I think what Justin and Trackhouse are doing with this entry and inviting people from all over the world and come and try out our car. Maybe the next one's going to be on an oval with an IndyCar guy or whatever, you know. I'm excited to see what it is in the future for the project. But, yeah, to have this, it's an opportunity to come and race, but also to showcase how good other series are around the world.
All right, show them your branding as we go back to the booth. If you have a little trouble with Shane Van Gisbergen, it's just SVG, Rick. That works.
Steve, is that right, SVG?
I know I struggled. I don't know why I wanted SVJ, but it's SVG. I've met Shane a few times down at the Rolex, and he was actually at Nashville last week walking around. It's kind of an infectious personality. With that resume that he has, it's so much fun. I'm glad to see him succeeding so far.
Great to see the New Zealander here with us for this, the first ever street course race. The rain is letting up. Sports in Chicago, they are amazing. Of course, you've got the Bears and the Bulls. You know, the Bulls, as well as the Blackhawks, each have 6 championships between the two of them. So 12 titles right there. But it doesn't stop there with Wrigley Field, of course, and the Cubs, White Sox. So many great sports stories here. A good sign here in Chicago when we're starting to see the skyscrapers again. It had been raining so hard here all morning long. You couldn't see some of the visuals that we have been able to see when it wasn't raining. The radar looking really the best it has looked all day, and so we're very hopeful that this lightens up enough. We're already hearing the jet dryers and the air titans that are out there moving the big puddled areas in the standing water so that we can get this race underway. And when it does get underway, you've got to look at the favorites, the drivers that have had great success on road courses. And at the top of that list is Chase Elliott. He's looking for a win this year that could get him into the playoffs. The guy second on the list, though, Martin Truex Jr., has had great success, especially recently on the road courses, and he's standing by with Marty.
Yeah, let's chat with him, visiting with some fans who are still here, by the way, in the temporary garage area. So how cool has it been to see all these fans here in Chicago this weekend? I mean, it's raining, and you have people still coming up and asking you for autographs and pictures.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, honestly, it's there's been a lot of excitement around here. You can feel it. You know, there's people everywhere, and it's a shame they're all wearing their ponchos today. We could probably get some boats and race right now, but I hate it. I hate it for for everyone that this is happening. But it's been a cool weekend so far. I hope we can get this thing going.
So talk to me about this course. Were you surprised at how raceable it was right from the beginning?
Not really. I mean, I felt like the simulator stuff today is so accurate. So the technology is amazing what they're able to do with scanning the track and think, there were some patches here and there where they changed some stuff from there. But, I mean, honestly, it was like exactly the same as running on there, other than, on there, if you crash, you hit reset and you go again. Where if you do it here, you make a mistake here, there's a big price to pay. So I think that's the biggest thing was just, working up to it, finding your brake markers and certainly like turn 4 and a few of those other little turns there. I think it's turn 8 or 7, whichever one that is, where the wall sticks out. There's a couple spots that are really challenging, but overall, it's it's been better than I expected, and feel like there's definitely some opportunities to pass if your car's good enough.
So you are the most recent road course winner. So last year, Joe Gibbs Racing was terrible at the road courses. What has been the biggest key to the turnaround?
Not just one thing. I mean, honestly, obviously our cars are a lot better. I feel like a lot better balanced. Last year we kind of knew we were at a deficit in certain areas, and I feel like we kind of over-engineered some things to try to make up the difference, other than saying, okay, maybe we can run 8th or 9th or whatever, 5th on a good day if we do everything right. We just kind of swung for the fences a lot of times and kind of just got out in left field where we shouldn't have been. So this year, better cars, better understanding of these cars, obviously, with a year under our belt, and a little bit more logical thinking, but a better baseline and faster cars, better speed, and the ability to put some common sense things in there that work for us.
Dale Jr. was mentioning you're thinking a lot about the braking when this race eventually gets going. How big of a key will that be? And how much of this game, when this race happens, will be risk versus reward and kind of pulling yourself back a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much time here to be made up on braking, and the braking zones are just such a big part of making fast laps here, and maximizing those are a big deal. Again, in the race, passing opportunities, are going to come in the braking zones, but if you overstep it, there's a big price to pay. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to be smart. You got to be you just got to hit your marks. And, if you just make one mental error and go in too deep and lock up, it's over. So you got to be patient, disciplined, and hopefully we can do that.
All right, best of luck when this thing gets going.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks.
All right, Martin Truex Jr. won a few weeks ago at Sonoma. The winner last week at Nashville, Ross Chastain.
The situations I've been in, I've learned from every one of them and try to be better through all of it.
Oh, Chastain got in the back of him.
So sorry to Brennan and everybody at Rick Ware. I owe a big apology and a bit more.
Oh, he got Gregson high.
Noah and I have a very similar attitude on the racetrack. We're ready to fight him. Nobody confronts the guy. He just keeps doing it, and I'm sick and tired of it.
How frustrated do you think Kyle's going to be with you after this one?
Well, at the end of the day, all this comes back to how fast can you drive a race car on Sunday afternoon.
Checker flag. Nice job, man. Yeah, boys! Yeah!
So actually getting a look at Ross Chastain's complete body of work this season. But the good thing is it culminates with that win in Nashville. So let's talk about that first before we move into Chicago. It was a statement win for the team. Justin Marks talked about the growth you showed. You talked about how passing Denny Hamlin, passing Martin Truex Jr. really gave you a confidence boost. Where do you feel like you are compared to where you were early in the season, some of those clips we saw?
Yeah, Kim, that was an incredible feeling to win. I mean, it's just ultimately what we're here to do. So especially to pass Martin and Denny, two guys that have been ultimately coming out on top more weeks than not against us. So it was great. It was so incredible to pass them, let alone win. That was great at the end. But look, we've had chances to win. We've led laps, and it just hasn't worked out. A lot of mistakes on my part, but a lot of just circumstance of racing and not putting myself in the right position. So we did everything right at Nashville to finally get that win.
Was it a statement enough win to quiet some naysayers?
I think you pass the first and second place car in a green flag run and hold them off through a pit stop cycle and everything. Yes, I would say so, just from the competition side of what Trackhouse can do. Can we sustain what we arrived last year and did, both Daniel and myself? So, yeah, I absolutely think that if they don't take us serious for quality of car put on the track and speed that they did after Nashville.
Okay, so you win Nashville. I know you guys celebrated. You stayed until Monday. Then you hit the ground running coming to Chicago on Wednesday. What's this week been like from the celebrations to just the excitement of Chicago?
Yeah, Sunday night was awesome to shut it down at Tootsie's and have a great time with everybody there. That was one of the founding members of Trackhouse whenever they started in 2021, and Justin needed people to take chances and believe in what Trackhouse was going to be. Tootsie's was one of the first groups. So to win in Nashville, where the word Trackhouse, the name was born and the thought was incredible. My team did give me a pretty normal week, though. Last year after COTA, we did not have a normal week. This pretty much was in the sense that Tuesday and Wednesday I was able to go about my business as usual, prepare at the GM Tech Center and at the shop at Trackhouse, get on our normal simulator time, get all of our normal stuff in for those days. And whether we won last week or not, I was coming up Wednesday night to go to a dinner with the NASCAR Foundation, and then that was already happening. So nothing really changed once I woke up Monday morning.
Now let's talk about the fact that the Cup Series can humble you very quickly. Last weekend, you win the pole, you win the race, and then you come to Chicago, granted a new course, and you qualified 34th. What were the challenges ahead of you in figuring out this racetrack, and what was the issue during qualifying?
These 12 concrete canyon corners, I swear. I mean, look, and everything we trained for, I knew that it was going to feel tighter in real life once we got here, and it absolutely did. It's everything my coaches were telling me. But I've never ran with this tight of walls left and right. So when I backed down my aggression to preserve the car, and it ultimately bled lap time out, and enough that we are all the way in the back. I mean, there was only one car slower than us in qualifying. So it's definitely not where we want to be, not where Advent Health and Chicago on the hood where we deserve to be and where our car is capable of. Obviously, my teammate's fifth, and Project 91 with Shane is third. The footwork that man has inside these cars. We have the same pedals, and I don't understand how he gets his ankles and his feet to do what he's doing. I'm a left foot breaker in a NASCAR race car. So, yeah, it's humbling, though. That's what's so great about this sport is week to week, you don't know what you're going to get when you watch. And when we come to the track, we don't know what we're going to get. Ultimately, just too cautious on my end, but we have our car intact. I haven't hit anything yet, mainly concrete walls that are everywhere, and I've just got to put together some quality laps whenever we go racing and be there at the end.
Last week's winner, Ross Chastain, starts 34th. Should be fun to see if he can pick his way through the field.
Thanks, Kim. And we know that everyone over in Australia and New Zealand are watching. He just mentioned Shane Van Gisbergen. They're excited to see him take on the best in NASCAR. And they'll do it on the streets of Chicago. And, of course, Chicago known for food as well. Everybody loves pizza. Well, what about the Chicago deep dish? Or maybe one of the Chicago hot dogs? I'm sure Joey Chitwood couldn't have ate 76 of those, which is the world record.
How much I know about Chicago. Yeah, this is going to go well.
The centerpiece of Millennium Park is named Cloud Gate. What is it also known as?
Oh, the bean statue? I don't know if that's the one.
The bean.
Name 3 things on a Chicago dog.
Mustard, onions.
Chili.
Nope.
No.
Relish.
There's a bunch of stuff on it.
Which of these rappers is from Chicago? Jay-Z, Chance the Rapper, Eminem, or Nelly?
Eminem's from Detroit. Nelly's from St. Louis. Chance the Rapper?
Chance the Rapper? Process of elimination on that one.
What major music festival is known for being held in Grant Park, the site of the 2023 Chicago Street Race?
No idea.
The Chicago Festival of Music? Lollapalooza?
How many NBA titles do the Chicago Bulls have?
I should know this one, right? I know 5 or 6. 6.
I think it's just the 6 that Michael Jordan's got him. Is he only a 6-timer? He got shorted.
He got shorted? I love Kyle Busch's response to that. Well, so much sports history in this city. It's great. And the drivers were able to take part in a little fun at Wrigley. And Harrison Burton, John Hunter Nemechek, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. all were there. John Hunter Nemechek got to throw out the first pitch, was very cool, made that all the way across the plate. He said he threw a sinker. He thinks nobody would have hit it, but they did get to sing "Take Me Out to the Ballpark."
2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I'll ever get back scoring. Root for the Cubs.
and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a part of that, and now he's standing by with Dave.
Yeah, Rick, he goes, they had only let one of us pitch, but I had to lead that. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr., we didn't know he had a singing voice, but I think we now do. And, it was okay. It wasn't bad.
Definitely don't have a singing voice. My wife, Madison, does. She was cringing the whole time I was doing that. But it was a lot of fun. The Cubs definitely take the 7th inning stretch super serious, and we did not want to mess that up.
I got to cut you off. We have breaking news. Drivers to their cars. You ready to go race?
No, clearly not.
Get your driver's suit on. Rick, back to you.
That's a great news, and I'm glad the interview was interrupted. They have called the drivers back to the cars. There's Corey LaJoie, and he'll be putting the helmet on, climbing back into the car. So the rain has let up enough that they are making progress, obviously, with the jet dryers and the Air Titans, which are moving the puddles and the standing water away so that they can run. Because we do know that they have rain tires. These tires are treaded. They can run in the rain. They just, as far as the Cup guys, they have not been on the track with those rain tires. Xfinity did. Parker.
Well, Rick, you saw Ricky Stenhouse there was not prepared in his driver and overalls. Well, Corey LaJoie was on pit road already. We saw this coming. The rain has lightened up. The standing water has gone away. We're going to go racing here soon, it looks like.
Oh, I never lost hope. You and I were sitting here talking, hey, this is good racing rain. Perfect rain. Back to a drizzle now. All the standing waters now subsided. So I'm excited to get this Celsius Camaro on the racetrack and see what it's got.
You qualified 19th. That was in the dry. Now we have the rain. What are you expecting here? How do you approach this? You have a fast car already.
I don't know. I know that your margin for error in the dry was 0, so I guess your margin for error in the wet is like -5. So you had some wet experience this week in the Xfinity car. Do you have any tips for me?
Well, there was no rubber on the track then, I won't lie. So I would say avoid the rubber. That's my one bit of hope for you.
What if you don't know where the rubber's at in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know if you have it. In that case, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll let him get back to his car, guys. They're pulling the covers off here. It has basically stopped raining. We're going to get this thing going.
That's a great sight, and that's what the fans have been wanting. They want to see this sight right here. The cars being uncovered, that sound of the engines fired is so amazing. So many people have enjoyed that thrill, the feeling you get when the cars fire up.
Well, and this has been the hope for me. The radar was improving, but it was this. When we came over to the TV booth, it was still in a very heavy downpour, yet the fans still lined the track everywhere. They could find a spot to sit and watch. They were there. I mean, that just shows you the enthusiasm the city has. A huge percentage of these fans are new to NASCAR. They could track that through ticket sales. I think that's what's going to make this even cooler. And now, I'm also a fan of a wet start. I like chaos, probably because I don't have to be out there trying to figure out how to navigate it. I think they're the best stock car drivers in the world. And let's see them tested to the limit. Wet track on a street course, that's going to be the limit.
And let's head back to Marty Snyder.
Well, Rick, when the drivers get called to the car, that means the Grand Marshal has to go to work, and that is Justin Fields, quarterback of the Chicago Bears, obviously. So what has this race meant to Chicago, and especially downtown Chicago, Justin?
I mean, it's awesome, especially, a city like Chicago, such a prestigious city, historic city. It's awesome having Mayor Johnson talk earlier, just how much it means to the people, to the city. So great having this event here, and I know everybody's excited, so the energy is definitely high right now.
You got your command ready? You practice a little bit in the mirror?
Practice for the past couple of days, but it's different at home than it is in person, so hopefully it's the same as possible, so we'll see.
I know you're excited for the Bears season. We're excited to see, I think it's week 8 against the Chargers in L.A. on Sunday Night Football. It's got to be a pretty cool thing.
It's going to be fun. Sunday night's always fun. Going to be electric out there. They have a beautiful stadium out there, so we're working right now in the off season, just getting ready for this upcoming season, so it should be good. All
right, Rick, just remember, he's practiced for 3 days in the mirror, so
we'll see how it turns out. So.
that command should be good. Justin Field, cool to have him here at the racetrack.
And it's fun to see Justin Fields. I think he might be a little nervous, which a starting quarterback who makes his living right there in the middle of Soldier Field. He'll be giving the command to fire the engines. The drivers are headed to their cars. It looks like a race about to get underway here in Chicago. We've talked sports, we've talked food. How about music? Chance the Rapper, of course, Chicago. Some of the great groups musicians, artists that have made their name coming right out of the city of Chicago. And I always go back to Chicago song, Saturday in the Park. I think it was the 4th of July. Well, look at this. We're Sunday in the park, and 4th of July is coming up on Tuesday. So much fun. There's the pole winner right there. It's NASCAR Cup Series Chicago Street Race, the Grant Park 220. About ready to get underway.
So Alex Bowman changing shoes. That's actually something. We talk about the weather for the cars. The drivers, they're going to have to really be careful to make sure they keep their feet dry. There's no tread on driving shoes, so when you push on those pedals, you're going to want dry feet. There's Chase Elliott in a backup car. We showed you earlier that qualifying accident.
Interesting. You saw a fan getting a picture there, and that's one of the things that is, I think, very unique about NASCAR is the fans can be right there in the middle of the action. You can get a pit pass. You can be right there behind the guys working.
And you see the instant smile? That was the fan wants to take a picture smile and right back to game face. Christopher Bell, he's never, not smiling and joking except this is the moment, right? Truex, we talked to him earlier, second on the all-time win list or the active win list for road course drivers.
You think he's asking directions? Is that Waze?
Well,
is he trying to figure out a way around the track? There's Shane and Gisbergen. Again, Australia, New Zealand. They're excited to see their hero. So many wins, 80 supercar wins for Shane Van Gisbergen, excuse me. Yeah, I'll do SVG.
SVG. Think about that. He's got a whole country, probably a couple, native to New Zealand, but races in Australia. So both countries probably tuned in, excited to see his performance. And they should be proud of what they've seen so far. I mean, these cars are not easy. They're very tricky. We've seen some of the best drivers in the world try to tackle these cars, and that's kind of what they say. You see Joey Logano, two-time champ. He's the type of guy, when you talk about the challenge of water on a road course, this is the guy that just seems to, he might not be flashy on lap time or flashy with appearance. He's kind of off the radar a little bit, family man. But, man, he is blue collar. You get into these streets, visibility goes down, grip goes down. He's the type of driver that can just survive and advance stage from stage to the end of this race.
Drivers walking to their cars, and a man of the fans, Parker Kligerman, is right now with the fans.
Well, Rick, I'm in the President's Paddock Club up here, the suites overlooking the front stretch and obviously the pit road over here. And it's a really cool scene up here. Even though we've obviously had the weather we had, people are starting to flood in here as we're getting close to maybe having this race. As you can see, we're up here in this large space overlooking the area. Then you can go all the way to the sort of overlooking the garages and pit road and see sort of where the cars are going to be, which is a lot of fun. You see the fans up here hanging out through this weather. And guys, I'm going to show you my favorite part of this whole thing. I've made a buddy up here. His name's Baltazar. He's been taking care of me for a little bit. See, my race ended just moments, well, a couple hours ago, so I get to tell him over here. You mind if I cut you real quick? I think I have a drink waiting. Thank you, Baltazar. Appreciate it. You get a fine drink here at the President's Paddock Club. Cheers.
I thought he was working.
Well, is he a race car driver or a broadcaster? Because he keeps going back and forth. But we appreciate, I got to spend some time with Parker kind of taking us through the track and what he got to experience in the Xfinity Series race. There you go, Daniel Suarez.
Another driver who has a country behind him, Mexico.
Well, and you see the logo, that's Trackhouse on the side of his hat. So Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain, that car that SVG is driving, that is Project 91, a third entry that Justin Marks and Trackhouse enters. Kimi Räikkönen drove it. Yeah, Pitbull buried the lead on the co-owner there. Pitbull. Should I start with Pitbull?
Pitbull's a pretty big one as far as co-owners go. And all smiles for Daniel Suarez. He's had great success on road courses.
Yeah, I have to wonder where their mindset is now. You saw Ricky, he was in the middle of an interview. So I think people thought the race would happen, but this is something different. Normally the track has to be completely dry in years past. On this new ability on road courses to run on wet tires, he was kind of like, oh, man, Dave gave him the news. You better get your suit on.
There's Ty Gibbs signing a few autographs as he walks back to the car, getting ready. So it's been a little while since we have let you know the starting grid. We're going to show you again. Up front will be Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick, two drivers with Toyotas that will make up the front row.
We just saw Daniel Suarez, who'll be in row 3 next to Michael McDowell, Kyle Larson. next to Jensen Button. Logano, as we also saw him walking out. He'll be in row 5 next to A.J. Allmendinger.
Logano's been very good at first time at tracks. As far as when we raced in the Coliseum, he was able to win there. When we raced on dirt at Bristol, he won there for the first time.
There's AJ hustling to the car on your screen there. We got Truex and Gibbs, Buscher, really a good qualifying lap for Briscoe back in row 8. I know it wasn't the practice he was looking for. We heard from Corey LaJoie back there in row 10. William Byron, unfortunately, had a little damage that he forces him to go to the back all of row 13. There's what I was talking about. Chase Elliott drying the bottom of his feet off before he gets into the race car.
A little further back through the field, you saw some of those drivers that said to the rear, anytime you make any changes or adjustments to a car, you have to take that car to the back of the field when you start.
And I actually think the wet weather and the challenge is a better chance for those drivers. I think in the dry, it's a very tall task at a street course to work your way through traffic. But I think this level of unknown, this level of challenge, while it will be chaotic back there, Marty, I think the guys in the back have a better opportunity.
Yeah, and a few teams have mentioned that Chase Elliott going to a backup car starting at the back might not be the worst thing in the world. Look at all these fans, Daniel Suarez. I mean, they're here in the President's Paddock. How about that? How cool is that to walk in the rain out here and the fans are out here?
We're so lucky, man, that the rain stopped. You know, these fans have been amazing. It's the energy is just incredible, and I'm so happy that the weather is cooperating and we're ready to roll.
Yeah, what do you think about starting this race in wet conditions like this? Did you really tell me this is perfect?
I mean, really, I think it's for rain conditions, it's as good as it gets. You know, it's not raining anymore. It's very wet. It's going to be tricky, don't get me wrong, but I'm towards the front, so it could be way worse.
Yeah. What are going to be the tough parts of starting in the wet like this?
Just trying to learn as quick as possible. It's going to be different concrete, different asphalts. We'll have to adapt. And whoever adapts the quickest is going to be able to make some track position.
Of those, what will be the toughest? The concrete, maybe?
I think the concrete is going to be slick. I was talking actually earlier with Jensen Button and Shane, and they both have more experience than me on rain, and they both agree that concrete is going to be tricky, but it's going to be the same for everyone, so let's go.
What would the win in the first ever NASCAR street course race mean to anybody in this field today, Daniel?
It would mean a lot. It would mean a lot, and I can tell you I have as good of a shot as anyone else.
There you go. I like the confidence from Daniel Suarez. And remember, he won at Sonoma last year, Rick, so knows his way around the road courses and maybe the street courses as well. And mention he starts up front. That's going to be a key today.
You're right. Dave.
Rick, just looking at William Byron now in the 24 car. He's just gotten himself settled in there, and a lot of discussion with his crew, making sure everything is in place and just right. You've already talked about the shoes needing to be dry. William has to be confident with those pedals, especially because the damage that he incurred in qualifying, he will have to go to the rear, drop to the back of this pack. And I just spoke with him and asked him about that, and he said, I just, have nowhere to go but up. I can kind of take my time back there. I can kind of feel the car out. He expects it to be just as good as it was before the wall contact, and then he'll just make his way forward little by little. Patience, I think, is going to be the key here as they skate through this slipperier than it was Chicago street course.
Thanks, Dave. Now, NASCAR, and this is an obvious thing, but NASCAR has deemed the racetrack or the racing surface wet. And because of that, here are those rules, Steve.
Correct. So if it's wet conditions, there will be rear lights. Normally, there are no lights in a NASCAR stock car. You're going to see some red running lights. They're not brake lights. They're just running lights, so for a little bit of vision, understand where the other cars are. Windshield wipers have to be on. They don't have to be operational. Some drivers actually don't use them. At the speed of these cars, the water sometimes just blows off better. You have the option for the defogger, just like in your car at home, front and rear defogger. Rain tires, those treaded tires. Rain flaps, they look like mud flaps. That's not what they're there for. They hang behind the rear tires. It's really to try to knock the spray down, to try to help driver visibility. And then under NASCAR discretion, at times, they always have this, but in rain specifically, they will sometimes go to a single file start. So instead of 2x2, they line up nose to tail, and that everybody wants to get through the first corner, right? It does us no good to start too wide and realize that the track is too slippery or too, I won't say obstructed, but when the car goes sideways, it's going to be obstructed as small as this track is, so they may choose single file restart.
This is such a great sight right now with those Air Titans just taking that the puddling and the sitting water off of this track, and the cars about ready to fire the engines. Remember, we're in Grant Park. We're right in the middle of so many huge landmarks, monuments, so many historic areas. And for the first time ever in NASCAR's history, 75 years of racing, and this has never happened, they're about to race the Cup Series on a street course.
And if you feel the anxiety, so don't the competitors, right? The street course was enough. But as a former crew chief, this was always the most pressure-packed time I can't imagine at a street course, and the weather. There's so many things that these guys are trying to go through in their minds, Kim, to make sure they're as prepared as possible.
And Steve, for over 80% of the ticket holders this weekend, it is the first NASCAR experience they have ever had. They have stuck it out. They are waiting. You guys excited? Yes, and they have got a spot on pit road. They're going to get to witness the athleticism of the pit crews. It is just electric down here, and they are ready for racing on the streets of Chicago.
Look at all the fans. And we heard earlier the ponchos, so many of the ponchos, but I'm sure those are going to be coming off here pretty soon because the rain has led up to the point where now the track is getting to a position of no standing water. You see some of the spotters.
It's a spotter amongst the fans.
Yeah.
I like that.
Being able to talk to the drivers. There'll be numerous spotters around this course to help the drivers. We heard from SVG. He said that's new for them. He hasn't had the spotters that have been able to help them out. All smiles now on the faces as everyone here in Chicago knows what is about to happen. But to get the race underway, we've got to fire the engines. Let's go trackside for today's command.
It's time to pass things off to our Grand Marshal, here to deliver the most famous words in motorsports. Chicago Bears quarterback, Justin Fields.
What's up, Chicago? Drivers, start your engines.
Justin Fields giving the command. The engines have fired. The fans on their feet, ready for racing in the streets of Chicago.
It's going to be won by Brad Keselowski.
Elk Grove Village is
skyscrapers almost hugging Grant Park. Here, Chicago's front yard, looking out at Lake Michigan. The engines are fired. Drivers putting their gloves on.
Yeah, so that protocol here, really anytime, even if we were at an oval where we had to be completely dry, you get to a point where, as you see the crews working to dry the pit stalls the best they can, the drivers will go out and they'll kind of give the flagmen the thumbs up, thumbs down. They'll communicate through their spotters. NASCAR has eyes and ears around the racetrack as well as a bunch of security cameras because they have to kind of call this race a little remote as well, being a street course. But they're going to want to hear from the men behind the wheel to make sure they are, or at least a majority of them, are comfortable to go. I mean, they're not going to check with every single one if there's a standout. But, you know, no one knows better than what's reasonable than someone like Kevin Harvick, right? You see Denny Hamlin's crew chief right here talking to his crew, Chris Grabehart. I think this is just as important, right? Last-minute details. We talked about the car. We've all been waiting. What has the water done? There was some standing water in pit lane. Is our pit equipment ready? Are we ready as a team to go?
Again, and this is different. A street course, road courses, a lot of times you will see the driver come in and the crew will be and the wall will be on the driver's left. Here it's going to be on driver's right. So different choreograph as far as when they come to pit road.
All right, well, so you talked about it right here at the feet of the skyscrapers, 12-corner road course, really a world-class road course. Left-hander, turn 1, first gear corner, up Balbo, right-hander, turn 2, all the way down Lakeshore Drive, north of 145 miles an hour in the dry. It'll be interesting to see how fast they get in the wet. And then this turn 4, in the rain, this is going to be even more tricky. Yes. A very fast, complex turns 4 and turns 5.
Yeah, East Roosevelt Road, very short and almost a U-turn down there that the drivers will be doing before they come onto Columbus Drive and make the hard left-hand turn onto Balbo once again. Then they go over the bridge, and then it's downhill braking into turn 7.
Downhill braking, and now into this area where there's just no room for error. Michigan Ave, to Congress Plaza, back to Michigan Ave. Very narrow walls on both sides. A right-hander, turn 11, back over the bridge. Another right-hander, 12 corners, 7 of which are 90-degree corners. And there you have it, 2.2 miles. Seems so simple right here on the map, Rick.
Yeah, something that's unique to this course is the restart zone will be just before they get to turn 12. And so what that means is they won't actually see the flagman. So when they go through the restart zone, as we see the cars rolling, such a great sight here. Denny Hamlin rolling off in that number 11 Toyota Camry. But as they come through turn 12, they'll start the restart zone, and then they can fan out right at the entrance to pit road. It's on a line on pit road or on the racetrack that they're able to fan out. That's normally only happening at the start line. And so because of this long straightaway and the hard left-hand turn, they wanted the drivers to be able to manipulate before they got to the start-finish line so that they could get out of line if they had to. A few more updates before we see the green flag. Let's go to Kim.
Kyle Busch qualified his car in the 18th position, and I asked him this morning how he was feeling it, and he said he was definitely underconfident in turns 4 and 10, 11. He doesn't want to put himself in a bad situation in those areas, so he feels like he underdrives those corners and loses time. To add to the complexity of that, wet weather tires day. We'll see what these drivers can do.
Michael McDowell qualified his car 6th position. Earlier this week, he talked about how his opportunity here is much higher than it would normally be for the 34 team. He just radioed them as soon as they were doing their radio check, and McDowell told his team, this is the perfect opportunity for us. This is right in our wheelhouse. Michael has a lot of road course experience, and especially in the wet. Marty?
Well, Dave, earlier you heard Kim mention that over 80% of the fans here this weekend are first-time attendees to a NASCAR race. To that point, Denny Hamlin sensed their enthusiasm yesterday. In fact, he loved it so much, he said, that was my favorite day at the racetrack ever. He said it wasn't because we were on the pole, Rick. It was because of the fans here in Chicago. And as he told me a moment ago, they're about to get a show.
So Rick, I don't want to call Denny out right there, but I'm not sure he blinked. I mean, like, you want to talk about focus. Okay, we got one right there, but you can hear him getting on the gas, almost just trying to take in as much information as possible about the grip of the racetrack.
Yeah, you hear him accelerating and then decelerating, decelerating, trying to see what grip level there is on the different surfaces. And we heard that from SVG earlier. He made the comment, you know, it's different from a new asphalt to an old concrete. And there are differing surfaces all the way around this course.
Well, everything he was talking about was in the dry.
Yeah.
So now he's going to have to relearn that entire information set in the wet.
And Gisbergen, so impressive in his practicing qualifying efforts. Starts up in the 3rd position for this race. This is coming down on Balbo, getting ready to turn right onto Michigan, and this is really the slowest part of the course.
Slowest corner, but then it gets into the real narrow section. You see the running lights flashing from the upper window to the lower area. All of this, you know, really you would think, you know, slipping and sliding has been the #1 issue, but as the sport has tried to develop racing in the rain, visibility has really been the driver's biggest challenge. So all of these things done to try to improve visibility. But I'm going to tell you, if you're starting 20th, good luck into turn 1. It is going to be a cloud of mist. So you're going to have to be really focused, try to find different markers on the wall, cars in front of you. You know, visibility will be a challenge.
Because of the difficult situation and conditions that these drivers are under right now, NASCAR has told them that they will be allowed to come onto pit road right now. If there's something that maybe is a little different with their helmet or something that they have to have a crew member help them with, they can come to pit road this time by, and they will still get their starting position, even if they come out of line.
Yeah, there's no reason. You see the rag right there kind of stuffed in the door pad. You see over here to the left, he's just got a little bit of a rag right here. He can use that to wipe the inside of his visor. He can't reach the window, belt it in, so that has to be done by the defogger. But, you know, you want to keep your visor down if possible. I'm pretty confident NASCAR is going to really look at a single file start here. We'll hear what they have to say, but so much work has been put into this street race at Chicago. I don't think anybody is more excited than the drivers, NASCAR, to watch the fans, to watch these cars take the green flag.
Parker.
Well, you guys mentioned the different surfaces the drivers will be dealing with and trying to test the grip around this racetrack. Well, one thing you have on a street course you don't normally have on normal racetracks is paint on the actual tracks. You see here a crosswalk. Well, guess what? These are all around the racetrack, and this paint does not have the same level of grip as you'll find on the normal asphalt. You have to basically test it out, and how do you do that? You basically move your wheel side to side. You'll test it with the throttle, and using my hand gripometer here, I can tell you it has a lot less grip, guys.
And
Parker,
meter.
Yeah, Rick, you mentioned a moment ago that the teams have been given the option to come in and put on slicks before the race. I'm surprised, Steve. I hear more drivers considering it. They say there's going to be a dry line quickly, but there's no way you would put on slicks and start the race, would you?
I mean, there's no chance I would be putting anything but but wets on. This track is as wet can be. There's a great shot. That's the difference between treaded tires and slick tires. I think it's not now, but the trick will be, as the cars run, they will dry up the racing line. And that treaded tire, way more grip in the wet. But that smooth tire, if you can stay in the dry, way faster in the dry. So, like one lap could be a 5 or 6 second difference. So that's going to be kind of the crossroads these teams will run into.
So and that's another formula that a crew chief has to figure out is, when do you make that transition? At what point in time do you think that you're losing ground to someone else who maybe has gone to the slicks?
Well, we talk about all the drivers have experience in the wet. That's where that comes in, right? The NASCAR drivers, the stock car drivers, it's kind of new still. But when you talk about people like Jenson Button, right? He ran in Formula One. This is standard for Formula One, from wet to dry and back again. And that decision he's had to make time and time again. Now, that was in an open wheel car. Can he take that information and transition it into a stock car? We'll have to see. There's Jenson right there in the 15 car.
Jenson Button behind the wheel of a Cup car. We saw it a little bit earlier this year. And we're being told that NASCAR is going to have the whole field come down pit road this time by. So again, this is the more technical aspects area of this race course. Michigan through Congress Loop and then back on Michigan.
So now that the field's aligned and the tire decision's been made, you'll see the whole field come down pit road, which will be a great time for the fans at home to see exactly how they pit off this final corner. And this is kind of the practice pit road speed. You mentioned it, pitting backwards, driver to the left, so he's going to be farther away from pit road wall. We see a lot of penalties. You can only drive through up to 3 pit boxes to get into yours when you think about parallel parking on the street, right? And something about the driver being on the left and the right side of the car, they sometimes have a little bit of trouble and hit a box. So this is the turn in. You're now on pit road. This is off the front bumper. The Coca-Cola Zero Sugar can for Denny Hamlin. And we're kind of rolling down right here. Another great look. And you see all the signs lit up. Look how chaotic it can be. That's why this is kind of pit road speed, but also to get a great bearing of where your pit stall is on pit road.
And a crew chief will call you into your stall. A lot of times spotters will count you down.
Yeah, there'll be a handoff. Like a spotter will probably get you on pit road and say, okay, 10 away. And if I'm the crew chief, I now have a mark, and I'll say, okay, 5, 4, 3, and I literally count my driver right into the box. And then here's the blend. Drivers have to stay to the right of that yellow line until right there in turn 1. The issue is the cars on the racetrack are going to kind of want that same space.
And you heard SVG get into it right there. Accelerate to catch up to Tyler Reddick, who's just in front of him in the 45. There's Bubba Wallace in the 23. Rolling around this street course, getting ready to go racing on the streets of Chicago. We have Mike Bagley from MRN and Sirius XM. He's been helping us all weekend with the broadcast. He will be perched on turn 1 and turn 6, giving us a lot of the commotion that will take place right there on Columbus Drive.
That's a great way to put it, Rick. Chaos and commotion at the start. This has been a weekend of unknowns. We don't know what to expect on the first ever street course. Got a taste yesterday. That's been compounded today with the wet weather. Drivers were apprehensive in the dry. Now they've got to take it up a notch in the wet. I'm at turns 1 and 6. They'll leave me on turn 1. They'll go to 2. They'll go through the backside of the course in 3, 4, and 5. Come back to me here in 6, and then work their way over to Michigan Avenue Avenue, where they will be greeted by the mayor, Jeff Burton, on the backside of the course on the north end.
Well, an already challenging event has just taken a step up. Every driver that we spoke to before the green flag, before this race got going, they talked about how narrow some of the racetrack parts are. Well, now if you slip a tire, you're up against a wall. If you spin, you're into the wall, and it's going to be ever-changing conditions. A few minutes ago, the road directly in front of me was not dry, but it wasn't, it didn't have running water across of it. Now it does, because water's draining from one direction going across the racetrack. So drivers are going to have to learn where they can brake, where they got to check it up a little bit, where they can accelerate, and where they got to be easy on acceleration, and it's going to change every lap. A ton to learn in a short period of time.
And you may be wondering, where's our other colleague from the broadcast team, Dale Earnhardt Jr.? He will be in turn 4 and 5, and right now having a little difficulty with his audio. There he is, getting ready. Obviously in one of the fastest parts of this race course, and that is right at the end of the turn 4. So you see the safety truck coming down right now toward him through turn 3 and into turn 4. But that's right at the end of DeSable Lakeshore Drive, and we've seen cars get upwards of 160 miles an hour. Now that's in dry conditions.
Yeah, but you see right there, right? There's patches, there's concrete. We talk about changing conditions, and here's the challenge. This is the right-hand corner that the driver's going to have to make. It's almost like threading a needle, right? You got to be just barely off that wall to the right, miss the tires to the left.
Still all in line, and Steve, talk us through this 100-lap, 220-mile race.
Well, there's stages, even though we won't see a caution or a green and white checker at the end of the stages, but after 20 laps, points will be awarded for the first 10 cars that finish in that position in stage 1, and then 25 laps in stage 2, then the final stage 55 laps, which make it 100 laps in total. The fuel window 35 to 37, that's in the dry. If we get in the wet, because you just can't step on the throttle, you burn less gas. So we might be able to see him go a little bit further pit road down to 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, from upwards of 140, 150 miles an hour all the way down to 35, which, by the way, is the speed limit on most of the streets that they're racing. I believe Lakeshore Drive is a little bit higher at 45 miles per hour. But, yeah, 30 to 35 miles per hour on Columbus, on Michigan, on Balboa, Jackson, Roosevelt Road. So it's definitely something that Chicago has never seen. It's something NASCAR has never seen. Racing on the streets here of Chicago.
PNC Bank, you can find us in big cities and small towns across the U.S., where our focus is to always support the people who live and work there, because you call these communities home, and we do too. PNC Bank.
What do you guys think came first, the chicken or the baby back rib?
Baby back ribs.
Yes. Chicken tenders all the way.
Baby back ribs.
Chicken tenders.
Baby back ribs.
Chicken tenders.
Baby
chicken.
back
chicken.
ribs.
Chicken.
Baby back.
Chicken tenders.
I'm gonna go get some pie.
NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Sonic. Sonic. Toyota. Let's go places. And by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Cars rolling. The areas that there was standing water and puddling up, those are starting to disappear. And the cars and drivers trying to get acclimated to the racing surface. They are on wet weather tires and getting ready for the green flag here in the first ever street race. We mentioned Grant Park and the beautiful views, the Peacock Pit Box. which has our Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett alongside the big man Brad Doherty right there in one of the most beautiful spots. What are you guys expecting here as we get ready to start this one?
We're just like the drivers, had no idea what to expect. This is uncharted territory, basically. You know, it was going to be hard enough, Brad, to start with, but then you add the element that you've got puddles at some parts of the track, wet conditions. I don't know these drivers understand exactly what they're getting ready to get into, to be quite honest.
I agree, and just think about it. Even with all of this water and all the stuff that's gone on throughout the last 24 hours, there's a lot of grooves and a lot of different types of surfaces. Where is the little bits of oil and dirt and sticks and twigs we're going to be racing on? So I think it's going to be an adventure. The only thing I'm worried about is my hair, though. It's getting blown around up here a little bit.
Yeah, back to you guys to call this. We'll be listening and watching, guys.
Yeah, make sure to make that hair look good down there, Brad. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I know we've had a great time this weekend around all the fans, taking in all the sights. But this is what we're here for, right here. These cars lining up 2 by 2, getting ready for the start. Cleaning the tires, warming the tires up.
So you see the pace car lights are off. That tells me we're coming to green. We're here from NASCAR that it will be a single file start. So Denny Hamlin has earned the right to lead the field to green. That is the reason there's a Toyota pace car. I thought that was a cool little touch for the street course, right? The Toyota, Ford, and the Chevrolet. Whoever had the pole gets to lead the field to green.
Steve, one of the fun things that we are able to do when we go to a road course is sometimes we will do them radio style. And by that, I mean that we'll go from broadcaster to broadcaster in the different areas around the course and have them call that area. And that's what we're going to be able to do once again today. Until Dale Jr.'s headset works, we will have you kind of fill in for him on turns 4, 5, and 6. But again, we will have Bagley in turn 1 and turn 6. We'll have the mayor, Jeff Burton. He'll take everything from turn 7 all the way through turn 11. And then Steve, you and I've got it on the front stretch when they get ready to come back to the green flag. It is a great sight to see the lights off of that Toyota Camry leading the field here to the start.
This is the last chance these drivers have to kind of get a view of the track. Next time through, it's going to be at speed. All these 90-degree corners are blind. The conditions will change. As Jeff Burton mentioned, every single lap there'll be something different about the surface itself. That higher shot, I mean, how about the fans? It's not just the stands and the suites. They are lined up everywhere you can kind of get a glimpse of the cars. You see them there right along the fence line.
Here they come into turn 11. And the field now being led by Denny Hamlin. He won the pole yesterday. And now he has the honor and is making history as NASCAR is racing in the streets of Chicago. Down the front stretch they come for the first time.
Here they come off the end of the front straightaway. Tyler Reddick in the 45, wasting no time. He's going to jump to the outside of Denny Hamlin. Hamlin slips off the corner. That'll give Tyler Reddick the advantage. Hamlin in the 11. Reddick in the 45. Surprisingly, side by side for the lead through 1, through 2, and up through Lakeshore Drive headed to turn 3.
Denny Hamlin not giving up the position, battles back on the outside of Reddick. The problem is he won't be in position for turn 4. Very narrow. Will they sort it out? Threading a needle. Hamlin carrying a lot of speed. They somehow go through there too wide successfully. Now it's off from turn 5. Back down Columbus as you see the field continuing to file through nice and clean. Really quite shocking, Bags.
It is, and I'm surprised that Tyler Reddick was so aggressive on the initial start, but that aggressiveness has paid off. Here they come into the braking zone. They're going all the way down to first gear. Change for third. You see Christopher Bell in the 20. He'll slide off the corner for a while, and that will open the line for Shane Van Gissenberg, and right now in 7.
Yeah, we see Eric Almirola. He's turned around, coming out of turn number 5. We'll see if he can get it going the right direction here.
Oh, and we're winding them up here in 6. You got Eric Jones involved, Brad Keselowski's involved, Noah Gregson's into the tire pack. Gregson's going to back it up, but Eric Jones and Brad Keselowski are wedged together now in 6. Here's Brad. He'll back it up, waiting for Eric Jones to do the same. And as they came to grief in 6, now they will part peaceably and resume their driving activities.
Take another look at what happened here. That's Eric Almirola coming out of 5. A lot of bumps there. And that concrete, we've heard SVG say that they could be a little slicker on that surface. And Eric Almirola learned it. Here's the pileup in turn 6.
Yeah, it really starts with the 42 of Eric Jones in the 43. Just in way too deep. Nowhere for the 6 to go. Nowhere for the 42, which is the teammate to that black 43 car in the bottom of the screen. Luckily, the yellow car kind of snuck through behind them there. And Denny Hamlin, the pole sitter. Contact with the barrier.
Denny Hamlin, that is turn 2. Right as you get ready to come down Lakeshore Drive, and Denny Hamlin got a little bit too hot into 2.
This is a great view right off the front bumper of Hamlin's car. You see the different surfaces. Looking back at the driver himself, he's going to be frustrated. He knows he had track position. Obviously some sort of mistake or issue. Oh, listen to the wheel spin, just how low a grip there is. All right, let's take another look right here. We're going to see all by himself that purple 11 just gets in the corner, loses grip, and slides into the tire barrier. I don't believe there's any damage. That tire barrier did a really nice job. Let's listen. Yeah, I mean, you heard it. No real wheel hop, no real brake input, just too much traction or too much speed for the traction available.
So Denny Hamlin, after starting on pole, has fallen back quite a bit. He is down into the 12th position. Tyler Reddick seems to be, well, it's a bad cliche, but on a Sunday drive here in Chicago, out in front of this field, and he's put a second and a half between himself and second place Bell.
Bell comes in second spot off the end of the front straightaway under somewhat of a challenge by Shane Van Gisbergen. Right now, they are racing for the second spot with Denny Hamlin finding that calamity in turn 2. That's allowed Tyler Reddick to check out, and he's been very brave in these braking zones while he continues to move away. What a battle for second right now. This is the right-hander turn 2. They're on Lakeshore Drive, and they're racing their way to turn 3.
You see the comfort right here of SVG. He was able to close in the middle of the corner. Now he gives a little gap on the high-speed section, almost breathing the throttle a little bit in turn 3. We never saw that in the dry. This is turn 4. I love to listen in and just how gingerly these guys have to drive these cars.
They're very gingerly coming off of 5. And then they'll let her rip down this straightaway known as Columbus Drive. And then they got to hop hard on the binders coming into turn 6. Here they come now, cutting the corner. And that's the onboard shot right now from your third place driver. And as you see, second place is starting to tiptoe away, Jeff.
This, to me, is a very difficult spot under these conditions.
Downhill. Turn 6, Kyle Busch hard into the tire barrier. Oh, he tried to slow down, and he just impales that Chevrolet into the tire barrier. Hard contact for Kyle. He's trying to back the car up to get out of the tire pack, but he has wedged that Chevrolet Camaro underneath of the tire pack, and that's the first time we have seen that all weekend long.
Windshield deep into the tires there in turn 6, and that brings out a full course caution. We have seen on different corners where one car might have an issue, but they know that they can continue rolling. We'll see the blue flag, which is a local caution, but this is a full flag caution now. Kim.
And Kyle Busch feels like his car will still roll and he can still race. He did ask for a little help. Take a listen. Well, on the radio, he told him, I just need help getting out of the tire barrier. After that, I should be good. Kyle Busch, you see him just sliding. He was very nervous about the wet conditions, and that nervousness proving itself as he gets into the tire barrier.
It's just a misjudgment of the grip. Much like Denny Hamlin at turn 2, Kyle Busch, you saw his speed versus the other cars. And once the car starts sliding, once traction is broken, you're kind of done. It's not going to basically come back to him. I mean, look at the speed. Luckily for Chris Buescher in that 17, that white and blue car, he was far enough in front of Kyle Busch that he didn't get hit. But to your point, Rick, very interesting. So what they're going to do here is literally just tow this car back, Jeff, try to get it out from underneath the tire barrier.
Yeah, that's right. They have these hooks put onto the rear bumper. They can hook it up, pull it out. Kyle Busch says he thinks he's okay to roll. I think one thing that's important to remember is that setups matter. How you set your car up for this race does make a difference. Most teams probably were set up for the drive based on practice yesterday. Your car may not brake as well as someone else's. It may not turn as well as another competitor. You're going to have to drive your car to its limit and not get pulled into chasing speed at this moment. Understand where you have grip and where you don't. Ignore the people around you. That's very difficult to do for a race car driver, but in these conditions, that is what is required.
I want to see if this car can, let's see how this really works.
Yeah, what it looks like.
Yeah. Man, just like that.
Listen to the crowd, by the way.
Look at the crowd.
Yeah, 20 deep over there in turn 6. Kyle Busch had it fired up. They backed him out. We'll see if he's able to continue on, but this brought out the first caution of the day from the streets of Chicago.
Zero sugar, the best Coke ever. Take a taste and see it for yourself. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
The rain is basically stopped falling here at Chicago, but the track is still wet. And luckily for us, we got my old buddy Dale Jr. and Mike all working down there at turn 4. Junior, it's been an exciting start on these wet weather tires. What's been your opinion from your vantage point down there?
I was super excited to see this race get going and watch the drivers face that challenge. In turn 4, there's so many bumps getting down into the braking zone of that corner. It is a fast corner, so it's not a hard braking zone, but they are respecting not only the bumps, but what those could do to the car and how that could throw the car out of control. They're really, really respecting and cautious to the entry of that turn. They're, turn 5 is the first corner, first gear corner, and they're nowhere near that. So they're probably in third gear through here, just gingerly trying to get through the center of 4 and 5 and then onto the long straightaway and not induce any real spin with any high RPMs like a second or first gear would do. So pretty impressive so far. I know there's been some accidents at other parts of the racetrack, but right down here, it's been pretty clean.
The 8 car of Kyle Busch, you see him a little bit of damage to the right front. Junior, I'm going to tell you, that was pretty breathtaking to see this hit to the tire barrier with the car having less damage.
Absolutely, and the tire barrier does a perfect job. See all the water coming out of those tires, but that tire barrier, we've seen it do its job multiple times this weekend. Kyle's able to not only climb out of that car if it were heavily damaged, but he's going to continue to race, and I think race well. When he came by here, I know there's some body damage, but tires are pointing in all the right directions. As long as electronics and everything's okay inside the car, you saw a lot of water get inside there during the wreck from the in-car, but as long as everything survives, I think the body damage, is not a big deal here, especially with the slow pace, with the wet weather. If it dries, that aero disadvantage may show up, but I doubt it. I think the team can repair that, and he's got a lot more respect, I guess, for that corner than anyone else right now. Rick?
Yeah, we're seeing Race Control has said that all starts and restarts will be single file until further notice. And Steve, you mentioned that at the very beginning, that they could tell the drivers that it would be a single file restart.
And we saw that last replay. That's our first time we've seen kind of that in-car for Kyle Busch. You could hear the wheel hop, and here we come, Rick.
Back down the front stretch and into the gas again. Out front, Tyler Reddick, and then Christopher Bell running second.
Front and 2 coming into turn number 1. That's the left-hander onto Balbo. Everybody's safely through in front of the top 15 cars or so. Tyler Reddick starting to leg it out now, trying to pull away from the 20 of Christopher Bell as they exit turn 2 and race up Lakeshore Drive.
How impressive has Tyler Reddick been so far in these conditions, just driving away from the field? And he looks really comfortable doing it. You have to imagine everybody's going to gain more and more confidence. And there'll be some drivers that will be able to match that pace, especially back here in the field. But a lot of difficult traffic, a lot of having to be patient with other drivers. Just trying to get through these part of the racetrack. With the concrete, I believe that allows for a little more grip Back down to you.
Here they come into turn number 6. Tyler Reddick away using the 45. Further back, stacking up side by side in the 34 car. That's Michael McDowell. Daniel Suarez in the 99. Suarez is going to slide underneath. It'll grab the spot and try to gain traction all at the same time.
McDowell's on a mission today. I called him this morning. I said, what do you think? He said, I think one thing. It's time to win. That's what's on his mind, and he views this as an opportunity. He is a good road racer. He has road race experience in the rain more than most of these guys, and he is going to try to take advantage of it. One of the big challenges he and everybody are going to have to deal with as he approaches turn 11, which is directly underneath me, is there is puddling on the right side of the racetrack. You've got to stay to the left against that wall to stay out of those puddles.
Riding on the back of Daniel Suarez's Xfinity Mobile, number 99, and looking back from that camera, you see the 34, Michael McDowell, continuing to put pressure on Suarez, trying to have him make a mistake so he can get by him.
This is the race for the 4th position. Here they go. McDowell's going to take a peek. McDowell's going to jam it in deep. McDowell in the 34. He'll slide under Suarez. Coming into the corner. They both are trying to get that traction out of turn number 1. And Daniel Suarez is now in position to take the spot back in turn 2. Wheel to wheel to Lakeshore Drive.
It's a battle who can accelerate in these conditions down this long straightaway. McDowell taking the spot away now. The 22, Logano mixes it up with these guys all offline, trying to find some water here, trying to find out where they need to be. No dry lines through this particular part of the racetrack just yet, but watch these drivers during the straightaways get offline to seek out moisture to keep the temperature down in these tires.
That's exactly what they're doing, leaving turn 5 right now. You're watching the battle from 4th on back. Now here's the challenge that Daniel Suarez faces. Suarez is in the white car. Here's Joey Logano in that yellow number 22. Further back, Ty Gibbs in the green 54. And they're wheel-to-wheel. Denny Hamlin on the move as everyone begins to stack up, headed to turn 7.
Let's see how this side-by-side battle works out. Not much room down here in normal conditions, much less in the wet. Denny Hamlin making a good decision to give that spot up. Did not want to go side-by-side into this section. Look at the uphill climb. And now they're going downhill right against that wall. See those puddles on the other side of the racetrack? Stay out of that. Stay in this groove. Everybody doing a really nice job down here so far.
Back up the hill on Jackson Drive, and still up front, it's Tyler Reddick. Christopher Bell has closed the gap, though, just a bit as he rockets down the front stretch.
Battle for the lead. Christopher Bell in that 20 car slowly starting to close thing in. He's keeping Tyler Reddick in range until he slips just a tad off the corner. Here they come now, over to Lakeshore Drive. This is turn 2. That's the 90-degree right-hander. Christopher Bell in that 20 car in hot pursuit of your race leader, headed to 3.
Can Reddick be patient here as he sees Bell getting closer and closer? Can he be patient and not start pushing too hard and slip the car in the braking zone and end up in a tire barrier? Bell really doing an impressive job to be able to close that gap. He too sees himself closing in on Reddick.
Battle for the lead. Tyler Reddick in the 45. Christopher Bell in the 20. They come out of 5. And now they're going to set up for the braking zone. Hard on the brakes. They're going to drive it in deep. Bell drives it in just a tad deeper than Reddick. And they'll shut it down to a car length. They cut the left-hander turn 6 and set up for that downhill run over the bridge into 7.
Bell's aggressiveness on corner entry is impressive. He's got to be careful not to overstep his bounds a little bit. Both of these drivers have a ton of dirt racing experience. You have to wonder if that slipping and sliding of dirt is paying advantage to him today. I love the fact that Christopher Bell, look how close he is to that wall. Watch him gain on corner entry here just a little bit. This is the heavy braking zone. See that right there? Christopher Bell is very comfortable with his race car under braking.
And these top 3 have separated themselves from the field. Want to take a look at the Xfinity fastest lap. Reddick, Bell, Van Gisbergen, but it's Bell that has the fastest lap up to this point, averaging 75 miles per hour around this 2.2-mile road course, street course here in Chicago.
Battle for the lead continues to tighten. Christopher Bell slowly catching Tyler Reddick. They are 1 and 2. Trying to settle this amongst themselves, at least for now. They will leave turn 1, and you're watching them come over to Lakeshore Drive. They're going to hang that right. Christopher Bell doing a great job keeping pace with the race leaders so far at this portion of this race.
Got to give these Goodyear rain tires tires. So a lot of credit. These drivers feel really comfortable to be able to push. You can see the tire in the forgiveness that it has as they start to lean and slide these cars around on corner exit. Marty.
And Junior, it's funny because I talked to Christopher Bell right before they fired up the cars, and he said he was actually upset that it was raining. He said, well, our car was so good in the dry that I could not. I wanted it to be in the dry. I didn't want to be in the wet today. So Bell still very quick. Look at Reddick slipping in front of you, Jeff.
Oh, and he slips huge coming out of 6. That's going to open up the inside lane for Christopher Bell. That was a costly mistake for Tyler Reddick, and that will earn Christopher Bell the lead. He hangs the right, turn 7, headed to Jeff.
That was a mistake that Bell forced Reddick to make. We talked about how Bell could brake so aggressively. Reddick was watching that. Reddick tried to match that tempo on corner entry, and his car would not do it. Christopher Bell, although he didn't move him out of the way, he forced Reddick into a mistake.
3 drivers have been up front officially. Reddick had led every lap until now. Bell now up front in the field here at Chicago. He goes around and he will complete the 9th lap here. Leidos, a pioneering Fortune 500 global technology and engineering giant, is at the forefront of breakthroughs in AI, hypersonics, space exploration, and more. Joining NASCAR's automotive expertise and Leidos advanced research, Leidos is designing the most advanced vehicle to ever touch the surface of the moon. You can join us as we navigate this captivating journey. Over Lake Michigan, and skies beginning to clear over Grant Park here in the city of Chicago as 10 laps are complete on lap 11 now.
Some aggressive racing right here. Look at Corey LaJoie. He hangs the right on Alex Bowman. This is a very tight corner. That was such an aggressive move. I don't think Alex thought he would ever be there. Gets a good run, goes ahead and sends it in there, puts Bowman in a position to have to give the spot up. Bowman tries to cross him over. Let's ride along with Denny Hamlin and check out what he saw. You see right there, he's trying to block that move. You have to wonder if you can get by with that all day long in this rain. I doubt it.
There you see the battle for second starting to tighten up between Reddick, Gisbergen, and as you see also, these lap times are starting to drop. We're down to 1:03.19. They get faster and faster, not only understanding how to push these cars in the web, but also understanding the changing track as it's continuing to dry. Everyone's improved except for Reddick. Reddick's not quite on the pace he was at the start. Now he's under threat of losing second spot.
Reddick and Van Gisbergen right now racing for second, coming into turn 6. This is happening just about 3 seconds behind race leader Christopher Bell, and it's happening 15 seconds ahead of Michael McDowell in 4th. They're downhill into 7.
Let's ride along, SVG. Check out what he does. He's very unusual. Most drivers in the Cup Series do not use the clutch at all. As he approaches a braking zone, watch that left foot. No downshift there. So let's see right there, left foot, used the clutch, made the downshift. Most drivers don't do that anymore. He says he likes doing it. He's comfortable doing it. I doubt he even knows he's doing it. Some people think he's doing it for a competitive advantage, getting his car to turn better. Others think he's just a habit, using that clutch to downshift. With these modern transmissions, you don't have to use it. He's choosing to.
And after qualifying,
Trouble, turn 6. Noah Gragson is in the tire barrier. He's nailed it, and he's doing a burnout, trying to get out of it, and he can't. He is stuck, leaving turn number 6. And he's creating quite a smoke show at the same time. He just killed the engine. He's going to need help to get out of this tire pack.
He's another one that probably will want to continue. That's the exit of turn 6 before they go up over the bridge and into turn 7. He was running 34th, one of the 2 entries for Legacy Motorsports, of which Richard Petty, one one of the co-owners there, and Richard Petty turning 86 today. It's his birthday. And then you see next to Noah Gregson's name there on the right, JJ, for Jimmy Johnson, one of the other co-owners. He was scheduled to run in this race until tragedy in the family, and he withdrew. Respect the privacy of JJ and his family, but thoughts and prayers out to JJ and everyone involved in his family.
At this point, the safety workers and the recovery vehicles are going to have to do the same thing they did for Kyle Busch. You saw the two gentlemen right there basically clear the hook. They're going to pull him out. Let's take a look exactly what happened. Really much like Kyle Busch. He got a little bit further around the corner and going a little bit slower pace, but got wedged up underneath the tire barrier. And then, as Mike Bagley really pointed out, put a bit of a smoke show trying to back that car out from underneath it. There's no telling how much those tires weigh, not to mention how much water's in them at this point. The 8 pulled out without a problem. We'll assume the same can happen at the 42. We're going to get a look at it.
Really depends on that angle, too, probably, if he nosed it in a little harder on the right side.
See a full house on top of the pit box.
Yeah.
Luke Lambert, the crew chief, is the person closest in the Wendy's uniform. At the bottom, a bunch of sponsors.
All the crew members wearing the 84. That would have been the number that Jimmy Johnson would have been running here in the race. And the safety crew now right there at the back bumper of the 42 for Noah Gregson. We'll see if they can pull him out and he can continue. Bagman, it's got to be a little bit tight right there, looking down from your perch as to the cars rolling by.
Yeah, I'm looking right down on the racetrack, and of course when Noah was trying to back away and putting up all the smoke, there were some drivers that were trying to make their way through. You had that to deal with, and now there are 3 safety vehicles here that are tending to him, and the drivers are just barely squeezing by on the inside. There is a lane to work with, but they don't have much grace. There's Noah out from the tire pack, put the tow rope away, and then Noah Gregson's going to fire up and move away from the accident scene in turn 6.
It's been pretty amazing. We've seen 2 cars get actually underneath the tire barriers in turn 6, and both of them have been resilient enough that they're still able to run. We'll see if the 42 is going to be able to continue. Turn 6 has been tough, though. NASCAR Fan Rewards is free to join. That means you can earn points all season by just watching races. You can answer trivia, play fantasy, buy race tickets, and more. You save your points, you trade them in for free tickets, autographed merchandise, exclusive NASCAR gear, and one-of-a-kind race day experiences. Just visit NASCAR.com/fan-rewards. Seen a lot of racing gear around this road course, street course, with all the fans showing their appreciation and their favorite drivers wearing a lot of the gear. Marty.
Rick Ryan Blaney was going backwards. He's one of the cars that comes down pit road. He misses a contact there, almost contact with Kevin Harvick. Bubba Wallace also on pit road. It was fuel only for Blaney. Harvick is going to take tires here, but Steve, for the guys up front, just too early and too close to the end of the stage to give up all that track position.
Yeah, Marty, I have to agree. And Marty, make sure you keep me honest here. It seems like the rain tires, the Goodyear is like a white, as we're on the Busch Light cam, right? It's a white Goodyear. That's how because we're going to see a conversion here, right? Guys are going to start gambling on the drying up, and they're going to jump. That's a great shot of the sidewall of that treaded tire. You can't read it, but it turns white pretty solid versus the yellow. If you get the right angle, you could tell the difference. It's a little harder than you would think in the rain, but we'll try to keep a track on who's on slicks, who's on treads. Right now, the whole field, though, still on wet weather tires.
2 cautions. We're into the second one now, and while we have a little break in the action, let's go to the Peacock pit box and check in with DJ and Brad. Hey guys, already we've seen a lot of aggressive moves taking place around this track.
Yeah, and DJ, you know, we've had a successful 14 laps with 6 to go on this stage. We see the temperature coming up just a little bit, but are we getting to the point to where we're going to see guys become even more aggressive as we get towards the end of this stage?
Yeah, I think that it's only going to ramp up as this goes on. They're figuring out what they can and can't do, some by trial and error, and losing on that side of it. But they're going to continue to be aggressive here. That's what you have to be. There's nowhere to hide around this racetrack. Yeah. And if you can take advantage and get yourself positioned better right now, that's only going to enhance your chances later on down the road. I'll just tell you one thing. I know some of them are talking about slicks. I'd tell them to put my slicks way back away from pit wall, because I don't want those anytime soon, is what I see with this track.
DJ don't want no slicks, Rick.
The word slicks is not the right word right now with the track as slick as it is.
I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of things as a crew chief I think I would sell. You know, maybe we should pit here. Maybe we should save some fuel. After what I've seen, there's zero chance I'm trying to sell my driver we need to put some slick tires as we're on board with Reddick and his Toyota onboard. I think that's a driver decision, because there's zero chance in 12 corners that all 12 are going to be ready at the same time. It's, you know, look, we're on with Allmendinger right here. Northern Tool and Equipment. Reasonably dry right here. While it's wet, no damp spots, especially right here.
And NASCAR has deemed that this is once again a single file restart. The restart zone, you see the pace car going through it now. Up in front, it is Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Ben Gisbergen, and Martin Truex Jr., Michael McDowell. The top 5 up through the gears they go again. We'll see how well Bell pulls away from Reddick as they go down across the start-finish line and into turn number 1.
Christopher Bell off to a great start. Tyler Reddick in hot pursuit. They stack it up single file. They will turn to the left. That's turn 1. They turn onto Balbo Drive. Watching them now begin to realign themselves for the approach to turn 2. Nobody doing anything dramatic or anything crazy right now. They're just trying to get themselves back up to speed, and they'll do it, clearing 2 and heading to Lakeshore Drive.
See back there in the 4th position, Martin Truex Jr. He's a hot man right now in the series. One of the best at the road courses, closing in on Gisbergen into turn 4. The top 3 were running 2 seconds faster than the field before this caution. Let's see if some of these guys have caught up. Now they've caught up. Can they match the lap time?
They have left turn 5. Here they come, downshifting and on the brakes and driving in deep. Tyler Reddick's trying to make up some real estate. That's Reddick in that green and black 45. Here comes everybody now. Going to hug the inside. That's Daniel Suarez in the white car, Kyle Larson in the blue and white car. They clear the bridge and now race down into 7.
Little side-by-side action there as Alex Bowman in the 48 and Corey LaJoie. Once again, it seems like these two have a fight that they're trying to resolve, and it hasn't been resolved yet. LaJoie now on his back bumper. Bowman looks like he's running scared out in front. Not sure what Corey LaJoie will do as they work their way through 11, and LaJoie even puts the bumper to the back of Bowman. Now up over the bridge and to turn 12, the final turn, and just behind them, Ryan Preece in the 41, able to clear that 14 of Briscoe, but Briscoe fires back on the inside. They're door to door as they go down the front stretch.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. talks about disagreements on the racetrack. These guys have been at odds ever since the green flag fell. Behind them, side by side, into 1. That is Ryan Preece in the 41. These drivers are teammates. Got Briscoe in the 14 right there. He set up for 2. And Briscoe will give way, allow Preece to complete that pass, and they'll single out now as they head to 3.
Preece all the way up to 16th here over his teammate Briscoe. Chastain right behind him, who is one of the biggest movers since the start of the race, plus 12 positions for Chastain. Byron also up 12 positions, as is his teammate Chase Elliott. So some big movers in the field.
Watching Ross Chastain on board with him inside of the race car and following the top from his race car. Right now he is in the 18th position. Here he comes into turn number 6. He's going to try to ease it into the corner right now, but he's got some drivers that are stacked up behind him. He will just cut turn 6 and not take that wide approach because he's trying to get set up for that downhill run into turn 7. He'll cross the bridge. He'll make the right-hander onto Michigan Avenue, and then that will set him up for that unique and technical set of corners that make up turns 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, kind of the Congress loop right here, a big, long, sweeping. This corner right here, though, turn 10, it's kind of almost just a kink, a very fast section. You see how much water is there. That definitely looks like the wettest part of the racetrack, the entry into turn 11. Now we're heading across to turn 12. Everyone kind of in line, pretty organized. You see the map on the upper right-hand side of the screen. You see the one of Chastain, even though he's running in the 18th position, a good distance behind the 20 Bell, the leader.
Yeah, 14 seconds behind is Ross Chastain right now. Here he comes up the front straightaway, and he's trying to catch Chase Briscoe, who's right in front of him. That would be the battle for the 17th position. Ross looks pretty calm inside the car, not making any sudden movements as he makes the right into turn number 2. Dale, does that surprise you? I mean, he has a lot of ground to make up, but he's not forcing any issues right now.
Such a long way to go, and you're on a racetrack that's continuing to change. Down here where I'm at, I believe we're going to start seeing this track dry out quite a bit. I'm already seeing it in some of the cracks of the racetrack where this concrete surface is beginning to dry. Right in the apex of turn 4, beginning to dry out. Really, really wet where Burton is, but drying out on the other end of the racetrack. So these drivers need to find moisture on the straightaways. Try not to allow them tires to overheat.
Starting to see a little bit of drying from turns 5 to turn 6 there on Columbus Drive. Out front with a 1.3-second lead is Christopher Bell.
Wendy's is open until midnight or later. So give in to those cravings. Get that Baconator.
Give me one hunk if you want a Baconator. Let me get that beat for 6 strips of bacon. Oh, there it is. When I say bacon, you say Ader. Bacon. Woo! Let me get a toot on the Mega.
All right.
Okay. Now, when I say...
Dude.
Sorry.
When the craving strikes, go night mode and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Baconator.
Looks like you got a corner office. Lucky.
Be part of something greater.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super, 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 super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women. We don't have time for lag or buffering.
Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again? Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Okay, cut it.
Ray Magliozzi here. eBay Motors has 122 million parts. Let's see, you'll need headlights and a bumper. At least you can skip the car wash. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Oh, I'll be gone.
Here we are, months into the season, and already a year's worth of drama.
Stop for an eye.
Oh, trouble. Big names are back doing big things, even if it's for new teams. While the 24 isn't afraid to wear a couple new hats. And as for the racing,
unbelievable.
No words needed. It's coming in fast, so better keep your head on a swivel.
This isn't just any car that's on the road. This is Hot Wheels.
Tuesday, July 11th.
This is the end of the world.
They're going post-apocalyptic.
This is the car that I want to ride in.
Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge, Tuesday, July 11th on NBC.
It's a NASCAR Cup Series Chicago street race, the Grant Park 220 on NBC. Still out front is Christopher Bell. They're coming up on the end of stage 1. Again, a caution will not be thrown at the end of the stage, but the top 10 drivers will all earn stage points, and the winner of the stage gets a playoff point, and they can carry that into the playoffs and through the playoffs as long as they are there. But Bell right now aggressively making his way around. He just came out of the Xfinity 10G turn and through 11 and up to 12, and Bell looking to grab the stage win. It will be his first stage win this year as he makes that hard right-hand turn onto the front stretch and across the start-finish line for the win of stage 1. And it looks like things heating up behind him. Tyler Reddick and Shane Van Gisbergen getting a little closer together as they finish second and third in stage one. Martin Truex Jr., Michael McDowell rounding out the top five. Then it's Suarez, Larson, Allmendinger, Gibbs, and Jenson Button, all part of the top 10. Steve, we're starting to see some cars on pit road.
I think really we're starting to see some dry lines. So the real issue will be, do they take wet tires or dries? I think it's time to make the swap, Marty.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of teams have been debating. In fact, on the race course, Junior mentioned it a moment ago, with these rain tires, drivers have been trying to find slick parts of the racetrack to keep their tires cool. So a lot of teams coming in here. We'll see if they all go to slicks, Kim.
And for Chase Briscoe, he was saying forward drive just is not great. They had a little trouble there on that rear tire, and he needed it to not slide across the center. So looking for some air pressure adjustments on the 14 of Chase Briscoe.
Now, I think this is one of the toughest things for a race car driver. You've been out there on treaded tires. Now, as you see the 14 rejoin, these are the yellow sidewalls. You saw the yellow Goodyear, so we know they're on slicks. So it's easy to say the track is drying, but these slicks do not have much traction if the track is still damp. So Briscoe here, oh man, you see how slick just that corner is right there. Front tire's not working. Junior, as he heads down to turn 4, this entry is going to be very delicate.
This has got to be one of the toughest things that a driver would do, unwillingly almost, to put on slicks in wet conditions. Now, there is a dry line through this particular part. You see it on the screen, dry through here. But if you get off line just a little bit, it's wet, damp. Now, as we go to this end of the racetrack, Bagley, the track gets wetter and wetter down toward Jeff Burton.
It does. It does get drier here on the outer approach to turn 5, but turn 6, that is. Turn 6 is still damp, and he slips just a tick coming off the corner. Jeff, this is going to be interesting as he heads to you.
This is the part I'm concerned about on slicks. I just don't know. You see the entry is starting to dry. The exit's a little bit dry, but up through this part of the racetrack, I'm nervous about it. There's a lot of water running across as he starts downhill. This is the part you're going to have to be careful. See, he missed the bottom right there. That's because there's no grip. This is where he better tiptoe. Very nervous about it. See all that water standing there? I'm really nervous for anybody on slicks in this part of the racetrack. It will be the last part of the racetrack to dry.
Now, Rick, if he can manage that wet section by just going easier, remember, it's total lap time. So even if he has to go way slower in front of Jeff in turn 11, but he has a chance to go way faster in front of either Bagley here in turn 1. You know, what is the net gain? That's the goal here, Bagley.
Oh, trouble, turn 6. Joey Logano into the tire barrier. Matter of fact, he'll nail it. He'll back away, but he has torn some of the covering of the tire pack away. That was impact that we had from Logano, but he was able to get away and will not need a tow back out onto the racing surface.
See the big impact in, and then you see the barrier, kind of that sheathing come loose. It's far enough offline. I don't think it will cause a yellow.
If a yellow does come out, I'm sure that they will attend to it. But Logano back up and running, and I'm telling you, these cars are resilient as we see Logano able to continue on. It almost looks like he hasn't been involved in anything. And then the 15.
Guys, Jenson Button is around coming to pit road. Jenson Button now tries to get it right, and he almost hits Joey Logano. So Button was coming to pit road, and he got tagged from behind.
At the same time, Stenhouse missed turn 11. I'm sorry, turn 12, turn 11. He had to run off into the runoff area, got turned around and back on track.
They're putting the slicks on the 15 of Jenson Button. You see again the yellow lettering on these Goodyear tires.
And everybody's watching lap times of the cars on slick. Let's see what exactly happened to Button. He's kind of a little high. Oh, there's contact. We talked about how difficult it was going to be to get onto pit road. You wonder if the car behind the 15, I couldn't make out the car number, even knew he was pitting. And then Joey Logano comes around the corner and sees a car sitting broadside in front of him.
Button was up high enough. Do you think he was trying to make the turn there and just got tagged?
I believe he was. I believe he was.
He was pitting. No, he was pitting for sure, guys, definitely. And I think it was Buscher who was behind him.
Yeah, Dave, I think you're absolutely right. Kind of similar colored cars.
There is a yellow line there when you come through turn number 12 that the drivers, they would try to get on the inside of the yellow line. He was a little bit outside of it. Maybe he just wasn't, Chris Buscher wasn't expecting him to turn right there because he was higher.
Yeah, let's go back and look. See how high the 15? You're exactly right, Rick. If you're behind him and you see him leaving that high, you're not thinking he's pitting. And that's just inexperience that Jenson Button has in our series. knowing how to signal to the guy behind you without using your hand. No gestures whatsoever, just the placement of your car. No way they knew behind him he was pitting.
Now we're in a very awkward spot. Sorry, Rick, of transition. You see Denny Hamlin come to pit road, Marty.
Coming down pit road, Denny Hamlin, who started from the pole, had that spin, kind of hung around the top 10 for much of this run. So they're all going to slicks here, Steve, but this is about a lap or two earlier than the leaders wanted to pit. You'll see his teammate Christopher Bell come very soon, leading right now, Dave.
And William Byron got on the slick Goodyear tires as well. He went from 32nd to 17th on that run, and that's important because he needs points. He's trying to win that regular season championship.
I hear what Marty's saying about what we consider the fuel windows to be, but I just have to ask myself as I look at lap time, so much slower because of the wet, they may be getting better fuel economy. Remember, if you can't push the throttle down, you can't burn as much gas. You see how dangerous pit out can be. 48 on the racetrack, 24 leaving.
Yeah, on slicks now. So William Byron trying to get a good feel for what it's like to be on slicks on this somewhat dry racetrack.
And I'm still watching lap time, Rick. That's going to be the telltale for me. And still the fastest cars on the racetrack are the 20, the 91, and the 45, who are all on rain tires leading the race.
Coming right at you. Now we have Van Gisbergen, who is in second. An issue there. As Gilliland in the 38 gets turned around.
And you see the yellow Goodyears. That tells me the 38 is on those slicks we talked about. Just found a little bit of a damp spot. I think this makes the racing so much more exciting. Okay, Truex from fourth comes to pit road. You see it on the pylon on the left side of your screen. That is going to generate some concern in the top three, Marty.
And you saw Ryan Blaney there on the screen as well. He had a contact on the track a moment ago. They have cleared the DVP, but right now Blaney in 37th. Truex coming to pit road. He said the rears were absolutely gone on these rain tires, and I think you're going to see his teammate Christopher Bell. You're also going to see Tyler Reddick come down pit road. The 12th car also, as we mentioned a moment ago, Ryan Blaney in last. And here's that replay for Blaney making that contact earlier. They were on the DVP. They cleared the DVP. And here's the onboard for Ryan Blaney. Listen to this. Wow, that impact for Blaney. They did clear the DVP, so Blaney back out. It's been a tough couple of weeks for that race team.
DVP, damaged vehicle policy, basically rules. If you have any sort of damage, you're only allowed to spend so much time on pit road. That's what Marty was talking about. It's been cleared, which means he's basically free and clear for the rest of the race like it never happened, except for the wear and tear on the car. It did happen.
They reset the clock, but to reset the clock, you've got to make a minimum speed around here. So obviously that would have been a little more challenging because of the wet weather conditions.
Yeah, but they got there. Oh, no, the 9 of Chase Elliott.
Also into the tire barriers.
And he's able to get off. You see the yellow Goodyear tires.
In turn 2.
This is in turn 2. I'm trying to look at the monitor to see when he was last on pit road. It looks like he had just left pit road, so that is cold sticker tires for the 9. That just shows how dangerous it is. Marty, the 20 in front of you.
Yeah, Chase Elliott did just pit, Steve, and yes, it's tough on those slick tires. He had made so much progress talking about Chase Elliott. Usually the game in these wet tire races, who gets on the slicks first? Remember, Truex pitted a lap earlier. You see Tyler Reddick on the bottom of the screen as well. Everybody going to slicks here and trying to baby the car as best they can. Reddick has a tough time getting out of his stall.
So now we'll see where Bell blends and the 45 blends versus the rest of the field. Back on the racetrack, you see, babying those tires. The 20, oh, man, it's so difficult. He's right out in traffic.
That was the 78 of Josh Bilicki, that yellow 78 that is running just in front of Christopher Bell. Again, before he came to pit road, he was the race leader. Van Gisbergen now scored as the race leader until he comes to pit road. Riding along with the enhanced health on board. Still, the puddles through turns 10 and 11 before they come up this hill to turn 12. Van Gisbergen trying to get by the 6 of Brad Keselowski. And now he comes to pit road. So the race leader on pit road, Dave.
And this will be one of the things that Shane has never done before. Taking a next-gen car to pit road, can he hit his marks cleanly and give the crew an opportunity to change those Goodyear tires? Well, yes, he does. He will get the slicks as well. So Shane Van Winkelsbergen winning, actually leading for the first time in NASCAR. He'll get credited for leading one lap. Now he'll drop back into the pack with the fresh tires and see what he can do from there.
So look at the map on the upper right-hand side of the screen. You see the 51 leaving, the 20 coming around the last corner. I believe the 51 right here is about the middle of the front stretch. Excuse me, the 91. Here's the 20, who's the first car on brand new tires, and this is going to be very important, really, for position. And Christopher Bell stays in front of the 91 on the pit cycle. So as both tires move forward to slick tires, Christopher Bell holds his position relative to the 91.
Steve, he was about 2.1 seconds back from Bell before that pit cycle went through. A lot of troubles around the racetrack. Turn 2, turn 6 have been the most hectic up to this point.
I'm Noah Gregson, driver of the number 42 Wendy's Camaro in the NASCAR Cup Series, and I'm always baconating. I'm not kidding. Check out our videos on the NBC Sports YouTube page.
Where do you think you get an outfit like that? Bacon from head to toe. That's pretty impressive. Aerial coverage brought to you by Pods. Moving this summer, save up to 30% at pods.com today. 28 laps complete on lap 29. There are 17 still to go in stage 2. And Van Gisbergen with Reddick tucked in behind. They are chasing after Christopher Bell, who is the race leader.
And you're starting to see a very defined dry line. You can see these two cars running in it. We started under very heavy wet conditions. The drivers took to the track, and as they continue to run, it created this dry line. So there's really been this pit transition from wet tires to slick tires. Wet tires really are just a treaded version of the Goodyear tire. It's what you would have in your street car at home. The slick tires are the type of tires that these cars run on all the ovals. There's zero tread. They're perfectly smooth. That rubber kind of heats up, gets sticky, and sticks to the track. And the trick, Marty, is if it's wet enough, the groove tires are faster. But when the dry areas start to show up, if you can manage it, the slick tires overall have more speed.
Yeah, I think that's the key, right, Steve? If you can manage it. We saw Chase Elliott, one of the best in the business.
Noah Gregson's into the tire barrier again, and he's stuck again. He's trying to back it up. He can't do it. He's wedged into the tire pack in turn number 6, as everybody will race by to his inside.
And will it bring out a caution? It does, as he is not able to get rolling, and so they will have to help him get out of that tire barrier. Turn 6 has been his nemesis today.
Yeah, this is the first time, not his fault. He kind of got taken off in there with his teammate, but this is a couple times that the 42 has definitely made contact with this tire barrier.
Marty?
Well, just to finish what we were saying, Rick, I wanted to show those tires Steve was talking about up close. So yes, the slicks here, yellow, and they are very slick, as you can see, and so tough to hang on to on the racetrack. Here are the treaded tires, Steve. Like you said, just like your passenger car at home, the treads, and it kind of wicks the water away from the tire, but they have that white sidewall. In fact, there were some teams that had these on well into the run here. Bubba Wallace just pitted a moment ago and took these tires off, but they are so hard to hang on to. Without water on the track, Steve, the drivers actually have to go seek it out to keep them cool.
Because not only is it treaded, so there's less tire touching the ground, but it's much softer, gummier tire. So heat is its nemesis. It's designed to create heat in the wet. So when it gets dry, it gets so hot, it really starts tearing the tire apart. You kind of start searching for puddles like a kid. You know, you look for puddles to jump in. That's what a race car driver on wet tires do.
To keep your shoes cool, is that why you do it as a kid? Well, these kids have found a little bit of wet weather conditions on the track, Noah Gregson included. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, and motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. Credit One Bank, a credit card company. And by Pods. Moving this summer, save up to 30% at pods.com today. There's Field Museum of Natural History there in the background as you can take advantage of NASCAR Drive. It's your race day companion, able to follow your favorite drivers with access to their in-car cameras. Just visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the NASCAR mobile app to watch all of the action. We'll have a restart, and last time we've heard from NASCAR, it was single file restart. And while they're getting single file, let's check in with Parker Kligerman.
Well, Rick, I just want to give a shout-out to this first-ever Chicago street course crowd here. Remember, just a couple hours ago, it was pretty horrible conditions around here, torrential downpour. But as this race has gone on, I've walked around this whole racetrack to different corners and different points, and it's been amazing to see the fans coming out in droves, getting up against the fences, sometimes 5, 7 deep against the fences in areas where they just want to see these race cars. So it's awesome to see this crowd return here when the weather got a little better and those race cars fired up and started racing. You know, race cars just attract everyone to come out here right after the rain. It's been pretty cool to see.
Yes, it has. And you mentioned the torrential downpour. There has been over 2 inches of rain that has fallen just today, and so just this morning. So really a tip of the cap to everyone here that has put on this event, all of the street workers that have been helping out and making sure that this racing surface has gotten to the condition it is now, that we've been able to see already 30 laps of this race complete.
And you mentioned, Rick, there was a pretty hectic first 32 laps. Started in the wet. We're moving into the dry. You're going to see some red flashing lights probably still on the back of the race cars. I think that's still required if you're allowed to run wet tires. Everyone here is on those dry slicks that we just kind of showed you. Marty gave you a great example what they actually look like. But now it's kind of a big reset. Everybody from here is probably looking for one more pit stop. Christopher Bell leads. The New Zealander running second, in Van Gisbergen doing just a remarkable job. You're on board with Hamlin. He was the pole sitter. He kind of got off track really early, and now he's kind of riding there in 12th. Now it's kind of it's a little more, I don't want to call it straightforward, but I think the drivers now have a better idea how their cars drive now that they've been in the dry a little bit. And now, Dave, it's all about communicating to your team to make adjustments.
And, Steve, whenever NASCAR races on a road course or now street courses, we keep our eye on A.J. Allmendinger, who's running 7th. A.J. just reported that the brakes are miserable. The car won't turn. He's not real happy with it, but that's normal, and he's won a couple of times when he's complained about his race car. Team asked him to be big picture about the whole thing. He said, I get the big picture, just don't want to get run over out here.
You see the numbers there. One of the very few that have so much experience on road courses, Cup, Xfinity, IndyCar, and IMSA for A.J. Allmendinger. Let's check back in with the Peacock Pit Box and DJ and Brad.
All right, Brad. Interesting racing so far. Yep. I mean, the guys have done a great job, even though some have had more problems than others there. But some things that we can go through here with the race recap. Rain all day. I can't even believe that we're at this point with what we saw this morning, the amount of rain that has come down and filled this track.
Yeah, there's so much water, but then we fire off. Denny Hamlin's on the pole. He sends that thing down into turn 1. Guys do a great job tiptoeing around this racetrack, trying to find some dry patches if they possibly can. And then the first caution, or the first spin, not caution, was Eric Almirola.
Yeah, and then these guys tried to get in turn 6 down here a little too hot. Eric Jones kind of created that. Denny Hamlin, our pole sitter, tried to get a little bit more than what his car would give him there in turn 2. Kyle Busch.
Boy, Kyle goes in there really, really hard and sends it in, but he's able to get out and move on. He's still racing. Boy, that was hard hit.
See that got put back. Here comes Noah. Once again, this will be the second time he's been in the turn 6 barriers there. But it's just such a corner that you want to gain some speed. Just not enough grip there. Still a little bit damp.
Wonder if there was a Baconator down there, but then you see Christopher Bell, who's been really, really fast since the beginning of the race. He took the lead over, did a great job, got ahead. You saw Jenson Button trying to come down pit road, got turned around.
Yeah, he's got to be further right than that and to hand out the window, letting these guys know, because that's part of it.
There's that Baconator.
Here comes Noah once again with his low lights. That wasn't a highlight for real for Noah.
Stay away from turn 6 for poor old Noah. But yeah, it's been interesting. But the guys, as we talked about in the last stage, it's starting to ramp up. And when they get on these slicks, now we know we're really going to start seeing some aggressive racing as these tires start to come in a little bit.
I wondered what may happen with Christopher Bell there when he switched over. But once they got a couple of laps and he got back in his rhythm, he really was beating the second and third place cars by more than a second per lap. So it was just incredible. But, we're here. This is happening. We talked about what a great place it is to be. And the sights, the sounds, everything. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than this. And we're racing hard, and it's only going to get better.
Yep.
Taking a look at the Toyota driver update. Bell up there in the lead. Reddick is third. Fourth, Martin Truex Jr. Ty Gibbs is ninth. And the pole winner, Denny Hamlin, currently in the 12th position. We'll see if he can work his way back up front. The skyline here of Chicago. The backdrop for this historic race for NASCAR. Denny Hamlin has that #1 pit stall. And already 32 laps complete of the 100. Steve, one thing that might come into play here is darkness. There aren't lights around this track, and because they started just a little bit later and not getting as many turns as they have been able to and up to speed, it could be an issue. And back across the start-finish line, Bell pulling away now from Brand Gisbergen, and here comes Reddick looking to the inside, fighting for that second spot.
Reddick's going to send it on into the inside. He's going to slide across the nose of Gisbergen now in turn number 1. Christopher Bell in that red car at the bottom of your screen. He's away with the lead, and the traffic stacks up from second on back. Now leading that battle is Tyler Reddick to turn 3.
And Daniel Suarez is getting it mixed up in here in the 99 cars. He goes by Truex. Here comes the 5. Truex really loose right there in the water. Got to lock up behind him. Kyle Larson and Truex side by side into turn 4. Everybody gets through there clean. Great battle here on these restarts. I think the tempo's picking up, guys.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr. just trying to regain some lost ground. Christopher Bell is checked out, and you're on board with A.J. Allmendinger as the field works their way down Columbus Drive into turn number 6. Allmendinger now will clear that spot, clear that turn, that is, and work his way to turn 7.
Turn 7 down here again, this sharp right-hander. You can see the dry lane, and you can see the intensity picking up. Drivers are trusting the racetrack. They're trusting the grip. Even downhill into this right-hander, the Xfinity 10G turn. I'm amazed that they're that confident. Look at all the wetness on this part of the racetrack, but they're still attacking, still racing each other.
That's the wettest part of the track right there, Jeff, in front of you. And they go through there gingerly. But then once they're able to come out of 12 and get back into the gas, Bell again trying to pull away. 1 second already over Reddick.
Tyler Reddick now in the second position, dropping back to the battle for 4th. Kyle Larson in that car right there, that number 5. He has it. Daniel Suarez we ride on board with in the Xfinity Mobile. Right now he's tried to take it away. Off turn 2, up Lakeshore Drive as Larson will gap him by about 3 car lengths.
Daniel Suarez did some testing in Trans Am at Detroit. Went and raced the Trans Am race in Nashville with the Indy cars. So has some street racing experience. I think that's paying off for him right here. They chase the 5-car Larson. Gisbergen right in front of him.
For the greater part of the last 10-15 laps or so, these two have been inseparable. Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson racing for position. Here's Larson on the attack to the inside of Gisbergen now. He'll grab the spot. The lane is left open up. Here comes Daniel Suarez in the 99, downhill to 7.
This is part of Cup racing that when drivers come from other series, they're shocked at how aggressive Cup drivers are. The Australian supercars, they're also very aggressive, but this is when they tend to lose spots after restarts. Our guys get up on it. They know it's important to get track position. They get very aggressive. They step up their game, and SVG is going to have to do the same.
Well, SVG has dropped back a bit now, as you mentioned. They're getting a little more aggressive in front of him, and now he's starting to see just the level of competition that he is fighting against. Dave.
And in all of that, look at what Kyle Larson has done in the blue and white number 5 car. He has now raced his way up a couple of positions after a good pit stop, in and out in the green flag cycle, gained spots there, and Larson is going after it. A lot of coaching for him in the early parts of the race, but now he is being very aggressive and going forward in the 5.
Incredible drive by Larson right here. Still getting a little bit of pressure back there from Suarez. Almost full out through turn 3 there into the braking zone. Turn 4 over the bumps. Track really drying out through this area right now. A lot of grip. Look at them slide the cars. Larson out really wide and driving away.
Kyle Larson has been very aggressive in the wet, and now he's even more so aggressive in the dry. He has cleared all the cars behind him. He's running in position number 3, bringing Suarez along for the ride that you're riding with right now as they try to track down the front 2 in Bell and Reddick.
Yeah, you can see how aggressive. Watch the 5 car. Watch it actually hop. It actually moves around, and it'll almost pick the tire up off the ground. That shows you how much grip the racetrack has. When it was wet, the cars just slid around. Now they're actually bouncing and moving around. Tires are fully in this racetrack. Grip level back up.
Look at the progressive telemetry of Daniel Suarez. Watch him hard on the throttle and back off again. And around turn 12. Kim.
And we know Daniel can get around road course type tracks, turning left and right. He won Sonoma last year, but when I talked to crew chief Travis Mack, he said having SVG has been tremendously helpful in terms of learning how to attack the racetrack, where to find speed on this course. The crew chief, the drivers, the entire team over at Trackhouse have done a deeper dive into the SMT data of SVG, and it's just added depth to what their notebook has been this weekend.
Coming right at you again, Junior.
Yeah, Christopher Bell is just annihilating this field right now. Only car in the 91-second bracket. Everybody else about a second off. Let's look at Truex right here. Trying to make this pass on Gisbergen to the inside. Down into turn 1. Makes it work. It's really a one-lane track. He gets loose on corner exit. Loses the spot back. It's a one-lane track. One line of dry. Everything else is wet.
Turning on to Michigan and heading right at you, Jeff Burton.
Yeah, I love this race. And you can see Martin Truex Jr. He just shipped it in there, hoping to get SVG to back up. He didn't do it. He checked up early and just turned back underneath him. Really great racing. It's kind of racing we expected to see. We got to this racetrack. We got on the track. We realized it is going to be a racy, little fun racetrack, and we've seen it so far.
Tyler Reddick, then Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, Ben Gisbergen, Truex Jr. all in line going by the pit road, Dave.
And Shane Ben Gisbergen, the blue and white 91, he's clawing back now, but his team is getting a kind of play-by-play they don't like. Listen.
Radio check.
They're hearing every single shift up, every single shift down. His microphone is hung open.
Those electronics in the weather, you try to move as much out of the way as possible, but you get any sort of, rain or moisture into those electronics, they just seem to quit working. The good news there, if his mic's stuck open, then the driver can't hear. You see him looking down. You wonder if he knows there's an issue, looking at the steering wheel, trying to figure out if he can fix something.
And all that's happening while he's trying to go up to the gearbox, down to the gearbox, brake, accelerate. He's doing a good job managing that situation inside the race car while obviously maintaining a spot inside of the top 5.
And the track continues to get quicker and quicker, guys. More and more cars running 91-second laps. Most of the field in the 92s and 93s.
And right now we see him going through the Xfinity 10G turn, but it's Bell who has been dominant once he's been up front, led 27 laps already. This time next week, the Cup Series once again will be racing prime time, but next week it is Atlanta. And Steve, oh my goodness, Chase Elliott got the win a year ago, but he might have to have a win if he's going to get into the playoffs. And Atlanta is definitely not an easy track if you have to win somewhere.
Yeah, the smallest drafting super speedway type track we see. It's only 1.5 miles, but they're races like Daytona and Talladega in packs, bumper to bumper, drafting off one another. Yeah.
Crash down here in turn 11. Bowman around. He made contact. He's up against the wall. trying to let traffic go by. There's a little opening right here. He's trying to go in it. He's not going to be able to get turned around. I hope all the spotters are letting him know he's here. Now he's going to have to wait. There's another small opening coming to see if he sits there. He just needs to sit. Almost the end of the line. There's still 4 or 5 more cars yet to go.
He was 11, and did they change from a blue to a yellow flag? It looks like they did. They've gone to caution. There was a blue flag there, but now because he couldn't get it fired back up, it goes to caution.
Yeah, you see contact right here. And he was just, both of them looked like their cars were moving around a lot. He and the 11 car got together. It almost looked like they both were in the corner too deep. The contact, around he went. Go back and watch that again. Yeah, let's watch it from an onboard from Denny Hamlin. Yeah, hear that right there. They're both sliding. You could hear Denny Hamlin off the gas, and you could almost hear the tires shaking as he was trying to get it slowed down. I thought both of them were in deep. Ultimately, Hamlin got into the back of him.
So as we are right on board right here with Denny Hamlin, you could see the very still overcast skies. And look how much the lights, like the caution lights and all. We're still, 90 minutes from scheduled sunset. But this is anything but a bright, sunny day. So Marty, with 60 laps to go, that is nowhere near a fuel window to 100. But if you think we're racing darkness, this is decision time for the leaders. Do you pit now, thinking we may only run to, say, 80 laps?
Yes, Steve, 60 laps to go, or are there 60 laps to go? That's what Adam Stevens is thinking with Christopher Bell. As you see Alex Bowman limp down pit road, that's critical because he's very near the cut line. Adam Stevens is worried about the darkness that is obviously coming here this evening and how many laps would be left in the race. So if you're Adam Stevens, you're leading the race like you are, like Christopher Bell, his driver. What do you do here, Steve? There's 5 laps to go in stage 2. You want those points. Do you pit here thinking, hey, we may be racing to a different number than lap 100?
Well, pit road was closed that time by. I could see the red light as it came through, so no options to pit. Pit road doesn't open automatically. It's manually opened, and it's going to be a tough decision. You hope that NASCAR would give this information, but they may not have it. They haven't made a decision yet, Rick. Decision time. You see Alex Bowman contact, and around he goes.
Dealing with the elements here at the streets of Chicago. Earlier this week, number 42, Noah Gragson tore up the city of Chicago with 6 strips of bacon and a half-pound of fresh, never frozen beef. Noah Gragson takes his Baconators very seriously. He says, and I quote, "If you're not baconating, what are you even doing?"
Rick, we're talking about getting close to sunset. We're also getting close to dinner time, and all those Wendy's reads are making me hungry.
Well, here in Chicago, you got plenty of options with the deep dish pizza. You got the Chicago dogs.
So right here we see the leaders passing pit road. The green light is on. So the idea would be you only want to pit one more time. There are 59 laps to go. You see some takers back in the field. New tires are a little advantage, but not big enough to give up track position. So you only want to pit after you're inside your window. We see William Byron coming to pit road right here. Kim.
And for Joey Logano and this team, they are playing a strategy card. Knew they didn't have the position or the car to win. They think we are not racing to lap 100. We are chasing darkness. So they are electing to come in and make what they think is their last stop of the day here, Marty.
So, Ken, this is an interesting move. Kevin Harvick coming down pit road, the Busch Light onboard camera as he comes down to Rodney Childers. So pitting here, they should be able to get to like lap 80 or so. They're at the back of the pack. They kind of have nothing to lose. The leaders, though, if they should come around lap 62, 63. So an interesting move. If we are indeed, Steve, racing to darkness around lap 80, they think they've made the right move here to be out when everybody else pits.
If you're an Alex Bowman fan, you unfortunately see the hood up on the 48. I don't believe it's damage from the spin, but the engine has gone into this protection mode. Electronics on the engine. So from what we hear from the team, they're trying to figure out why the car thinks it needs to run at a lower RPM. Frustrating.
And Parker, once again, you're at a vantage point that very few people get to experience here.
Right, Rick, and I've been able to walk around this entire racetrack, the Chicago street course, and I have to say, this where I'm right now, this patio over turn 12 is one of the most surreal experiences I've had in NASCAR. As you look over my left shoulder, that is the Chicago skyline. There's all these people hanging out, watching race cars, though, below them about 20 feet, coming off turn 12 onto the front stretch, and I just have to say, I've wanted NASCAR to do a street course, but this has been unbelievable. Whether you're a new fan of NASCAR or a longtime fan, there's no denying how big this race has been for this sport. It's just unbelievable experiencing it here on the ground and seeing these fans just take it all in.
They're expecting over 70,000 fans to be able to experience racing this weekend.
And so we've seen, full suites and full grandstands. What I just haven't expected is the fans, how they've lined up along the fence, like on Lakeshore Drive. Things we've taken for granted, which is the speed of these race cars and the sound. You see these newer fans. I mean, look at that right there.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they, 10 deep or so?
Maybe even more than that. Yeah, it's very amazing. This right here is turn 2. You see that? That's actually the garage area back there in the distance where you see the haulers. But look at the backdrop. I mean, that's just something that NASCAR has never seen before. They've never experienced something like this. And there, again, are the fans, a lot of new, some old.
Well, and I want to give the Chicago fans credit, right? Like, I know Chicago is a sports town. We know it from all the sports teams, and they're diehard. But a new sport, how diehard would they be? Very, because it was a wet morning. You see all the ponchos, they've still come out in droves.
This is a great shot, as you see Congress Loop and the fans. They're appreciative of the show we're seeing from NASCAR. And green flag is back out. Bell back into the gas. Larson right on his back bumper. We'll see if he has anything for him in 1.
Here they come now up the front straightaway into turn number 1. Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson. Larson practically pushing him through 1. And Daniel Suarez, he'll glance off the barrier in 1. They sort it out. Battle for the lead in the right-hander. Turn 2 to Lakeshore Drive.
Down the long straightaway here. Larson losing a little bit of ground. Big battle right here as everybody's trying to recover around Suarez. We'll see if Suarez's car has any damage, if he's able to continue. He's been a toe link. Ty Gibbs having an incredible run today in this race in that 54 Interstate Batteries Toyota. Truex still out of control.
This is probably one of the most aggressive parts of this race we've seen all afternoon. They work their way down the straightaway into turn number 6. Good battle for the lead now as Alex Bowman has found a problem onto the racetrack, and he has come to a halt on the racetrack. That is the straightaway leaving turn 5, headed to turn 6. The leaders, meanwhile, headed to turn 9.
Great battle for the lead right here. The aggressiveness is picked up. The laps are winding down. 2 to go before the stage ends. Kyle Larson had the fastest car before that last caution. He is putting a ton of pressure on Bell. Bell's able to exit the corners very well. Larson struggles a little bit, but beats him under braking.
Paved ovals, dirt ovals, road course, it doesn't matter. NASCAR to sprint cars. Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson continue to battle. What are you hearing on the 48, Marty?
No oil pressure, Steve, and finally the engine let go. That is 2 drivers right at the playoff cut line with the 48 and Alex Bowman, and also the 23 of Bubba Wallace, and there you see the smoke coming out of both sides.
And that'll bring the caution out because he stopped, which with just 1 lap to go, this is going to end stage 1. And so the field will be frozen when the caution comes out. That means that Bell is going to win stage 2 as well. So he sweeps stage 1 and stage 2. They'll have to push Bowman back into the garage.
And you heard Marty just say it. Alex Bowman, remember, he had to sit out a couple races due to a broken back, of all things, he sustained in a race car accident, not in a NASCAR race, but in a sprint car race. He's come back in the point situation. He's yet to win, but he came in just barely outside the playoff picture. And now on the left side of your screen, all the way down in 20th at minus 32. Really the big gainer today for me is Daniel Suarez up there in 15th. Daniel currently running in the 7th position. Great work trying to inch his way up. Remember, if a new winner, somebody outside wins, that cut line kind of moves. So it's a moving target.
And Bowman, one of the drivers who has missed because of injury. The other one, Chase Elliott, could be in the same situation there. You saw the car missing the turn and just sliding up against the wall. Again, that's Daniel Suarez in the 99. Larson putting a lot of pressure right there on Bell. But yes, Suarez able to keep it going. Suarez fell back to 7th after that incident.
Rick, you can feel like the intensity is picking up, right? Everybody talked patience and, oh, we're going to get used to the track and all those talking points a couple days ago. Not anymore. It's not a new track anymore to these drivers. It's the same track they've been on for 44 laps, and they're pushing.
And it's not dry, but it's getting drier, I would say, from 10 to 11. Well, fans, stick around as Linos will take us from the asphalt of the Chicago street race to the surface of the moon.
In today's news, President Kennedy, in a speech at Rice University, committed the United States to being the first nation to put a man on the moon.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept.
Not because it's easy.
And one we intend to win.
First 2 stages complete in the NASCAR Cup Series Chicago Street Race. The Grant Park 220 on NBC. And the most points earned today. Bell winning both stages. That's 10 points for winning the stage. And so he gets 20 points after winning both.
You see that big smile? You know why that is, Rick?
You had him in fantasy?
Oh, I have Bell, Reddick, the 91, and the 5. So as long as they don't mess it up from here, I'm feeling pretty good about the day I've had so far. And I joke, but that's really the point, right? So when we say points earned today, they can't be taken away. They've earned them in the stages. So now if you have an issue like what Alex Bowman had, you at least kind of have a little bit of a silver lining to your day. Dave?
So, Steve, Michael McDowell runs in the top 5. Note that this week the crews are servicing their cars in the opposite direction. Pit crews flow, pit lane flows in the opposite direction. So Michael decided he would be the driver behind the wheel when the crew practiced this week. Usually it's not the high-priced driver. Usually it's just a crew member that does it. Michael got behind the wheel to make sure his guys were on point for the pit stops today. There should be one more, Kim.
Well, Dave, for rookie Ty Gibbs, it has quietly been a fantastic day. Currently finds himself in the 6th position. And when I talked with the team this morning, they said this season is about racing smarter for Ty, trying to limit their mistakes and get as many points as possible, knowing they are within striking distance of finding a spot in the playoffs. Marty, no complaints really from Ty so far, just lacking a little bit of rear grip on that Toyota.
Martin Truex Jr. is in the 8th position right now. As crew chief James Small told him a moment ago, listen, if you just stay online, we'll be fine. At times we've had some of the best cars, one of the best cars here today, and at times we have struggled. You've seen him make contact with the wall. There is no damage from that contact. His biggest struggle is exit of right-hand corners. And James also told him a moment ago, Steve, hey, back it down a little bit. Back yourself off a little bit. There's plenty of pace there, but we need to survive.
Well, the only thing that concerns me about you and I both.
We did the count, 6.
Exit rights, a lot of rights. James Small right there. Now, listen, we talked a lot about the driver of the 91 and his supercar background. Well, that's where this man right here came from. James is from Australia, and he races a lot and grew up in that supercar kind of garage area, just like I grew up in NASCAR. So he knows a lot about changing both directions, knows a lot about street courses, and obviously helping his driver, Martin Truex Jr., to a solid run, still running inside the top 10. I love these two get on the radio. Man, not my style, but they have a very interesting style. They will snap at each other.
So I'm just hearing from NASCAR. They have made the decision that because of the late start and sunset, they have changed the length of this race, and they're letting all the teams know this race will end at lap 75. So you see that in the upper left corner of the screen. 47 of the 75 laps have been run, and so now the finish line has changed. They're going to 75 laps now. All the teams know it.
Well, now everyone is inside their pit window. So remember, a yellow ago, Logano, Byron, Cindric, Busch, Harvick all came to pit road. Almirola, they just hit the lottery because they don't have to come to pit road right now. They'll stay out because they can make it to lap 75. So they're instantly going to get track position gifted to them by the adjustment of the race length. Now the rest of the field will all come to pit road. And if you're Bell, Larson, Reddick, you're a little frustrated. These guys have leapfrogged you, but you have got to have a clean stop here and at least be the best car, or at least the first car on new tires off from pit road. So right here, hard right-hand corner, we are going to see a jam pit road. Small pit boxes, Dave.
Kyle Larson gives up second place now to come to pit road. He'll get 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel in the opposite direction of normal. A tear-off, too, so that he can see. Marty.
Tyler Reddick, you see him coming down pit road, going to get those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. What a gift, as you mentioned, Steve, for everyone that pitted at lap 42. But Adam Stevens did tell Christopher Bell, yes, they shortened the race, but there's only 9 cars that pitted at lap 42, and you're better than every one of them. You can pass all of them when you get back out on the track. Well, what an interesting twist in this race, Steve.
It is an interesting twist, but I like that pep talk. Right, listen, let's not hang on the bad brakes. Let's just get back focused, do what we can do. You see Bell, Larson clean off pit road, Reddick, the 54 of Gibbs.
Also saw McDowell coming off, holding his position in 5th. The restart when we return. A few new names up front now as the pit stops have shaken things up, and the end of this race at lap 75 will also make things interesting. Justin Haley will be up front, Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott, the top 3. Logano, William Byron, and Cindric, the top 6. Back up through the gears they go. Back to racing. Haley, can he hold off Dillon? Dillon back there in 2nd. Chase Elliott in 3rd. And how hard do they go into turn 1?
Here they come into the corner. You got Justin Haley in the 31. There's Chase Elliott in the 9. Logano in the 22. Logano will slip. That'll cost him a spot. It'll cost him the 4th position now, as William Byron will make his presence known in the top 5. He'll take that 4th position, headed to 3.
The driver that's dominated this race, Christopher Bell, all the way back in 12th position. He's going to have a lot of work to do to try to drive his way toward the front of this pack. All these cars a lot slower than him. There's a couple, though, toward the front. Chase Elliott, William Byron, that I think will be hard to run down.
Dropping further back in the field, you saw Corey LaJoie making some moves inside of the top 10. Meanwhile, the leaders, here they come into turn number 6. Joey Logano in the 22. Austin Cindric in the 2. Their teammates as they all head to 7.
Yeah, turn 7 teammates battling. Steve mentioned it. These guys had a great strategy call. Pitted before that lap, before the last caution. Now they got track position and most likely can make it the entire way. Great work by that team. But Justin Haley leading the pack. Grew up 2 hours from here. He is a good road racer. He will not be an easy pass. Byron in the wall. Byron missed the corner. Harvick around. They're going to stack up. It's too narrow. There's nowhere for everybody to go. You got to go right. They are all but stopped. There are 7 cars sitting here with nowhere to go. They're trying to back up. It is a log jam.
It's a traffic jam.
Nowhere to go right here.
Traffic jam on Jackson Street or Jackson Drive. And so they knew this was going to happen. You hear the fans yelling, but that was just a situation where one car got sideways and then another one was so close. Caution lap and another restart, Steve.
Well, first of all, the running order is going to be very interesting to see. But Jeff, did it all start with the 24? It seemed like he got into the barrier first.
Yes, that's right. The 24 of William Byron, who was in position to possibly win this race. He ended up getting into the barrier. Let's go back and watch. So there it is right there. William just missed the corner. Again, these wet conditions got out of the groove, and then it just snowballed from there. If you were able to get in this right lane and get by this, that was a lucky break. Here it is right here. See, William just missed the corner. Just pushing hard. Wet conditions out of the groove, and Harvick spun around in front of him, and that's what started this log jam.
Did we see Corey LaJoie get into the back of the 4 there also to maybe help him get around?
We did. Yeah, we did. But I mean, listen, I don't know what. There it is right there. But I think what happened was the 4 of Harvick saw the 24, and he probably checked up trying to avoid him, and Corey didn't see him. It's very narrow. It's hard to see through these cars. See right there, I just think that was, I don't think Corey did that on purpose or it was anything terrible there. It's just Harvick was probably trying to get slowed up.
Well, look who's stuck right in the middle of it. 37 laps led today for Christopher Bell, and you see the 20 stuck right in the middle of the traffic jam. It's like rush hour in Chicago, nowhere to go. I agree. So you see right here, you just wonder what Jeff was saying. So Kevin Harvick had a little gap in front of him, so I think he probably adjusted his speed, and we've seen Corey LaJoie be very aggressive into this corner. I think he just gets into the back of him, but look at this lucky break / great driving. I'm going to give him a little bit of both. For Tyler Reddick, also Daniel Suarez. Watch this right here.
Oh, McDowell couldn't, but yeah, Reddick gets through.
Yeah, a little
Suarez
contact
also.
with the 20. Suarez, Reddick both through, and for that reason, it's still Haley and Dillon and Elliott up front, but then a different group of cars behind them. Remember, we talk about the jumbling of the field, and the 20 kind of had track position after he went up and took the lead all day long, and now he's going to be sitting way back here, and now NASCAR has to decide how this scoring is going to work. It's going to be very difficult to kind of untangle this.
Yeah, this happened. It's a road course, and we have spotters all over. We probably have 2 spotters, most teams do. But right here on Michigan Avenue, the spotters are right on top of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra building, which is only a half a block away. So they were able to see it, but there was really not much you could do. Once it got blocked up, there wasn't anything, but it happened right in front of the spotters.
And you're going to see a lot of cars jockeying for position in the lineup because NASCAR is going to have to make a big decision. Okay, were you able to continue? Where do you fall in line?
Yeah, so basically it goes back to the last loop line unless you were in the wreck, which is basically 3/4 of the field.
Right.
So now we're going to have to kind of peel it back piece by piece. NASCAR's going to have to work the lineup out.
NASCAR will put them back in line, and we will have another restart from here in Chicago. These breathtaking aerial views have been brought to you by Pods. Moving this summer, save up to 30% at pods.com today. Want to see which drivers are on the move? Brought to you by Elk Grove Village. Plus 36 spots for Haley. Yes, Haley is up front for the restart, and then actually there's only about 4 or 5 that are certain of their positions. And after that, there's a lot of confusion as to where they're going to line up. Dave?
Not bad for Justin Haley up all those positions, and strategy is leading to that. I just talked to Trent Owens, his crew chief, about their fuel situation, and that was under green. Under green, they would need 3 laps. They were 3 laps short on fuel. Under caution, if they can get about 6 laps, it's 2-to-1 usually the way you calculate, they could make it. They're counting them off here, and Kim, that may not be the last caution today.
That's right, Dave. For Austin Dillon, he qualified 29th, and when I talked to crew chief Keith Rodden this morning, their whole goal today was to get off strategy and see if they can do something with this race that way. That is exactly what has played into their hand. They last stopped on 31, just like Justin Haley. Checked in with the team. They feel very confident about where their fuel window is, Marty, especially with these caution laps.
Well, Kim, what a crazy weekend it has been for Chase Elliott. The wreck in qualifying, going to the backup car, starting at the back of the field, coming up through the field. Then the spin in this race, they fix the damage from that, and Alan Gustafson tells him this gets us closer. I think they would feel more comfortable if they got another caution here for Chase Elliott in the 19 to make sure they could make it all the way. But boy, what a game changer, Steve. And no team maybe needs this win more than Chase Elliott and his group. Remember, missed the 7 races earlier this year. Right now, not in the playoffs for that group. And Tyler Reddick, real quick, was in the middle of that contact. Jeff called that, and they have a little bit of damage. The toe is knocked out on the 45, but according to Tyler, not bad enough to pit.
Yeah, and pit road was open, so anybody that would have come would have already had that opportunity. You see the cars swerving back and forth, just trying to keep the tires clean. They pick up all the loose marbles and they stick to it, and then the cars have very little traction, so try to clean up the tires when they can. We got the scoring all worked out, so a big break for Reddick. Gibbs, Almirola kind of moved themselves up. Bell and Larson lost their track position. We saw Harvick sideways, and you see what it would look like right there.
Yeah, as they run.
Yeah, 11 cars in yellow. Haley is leading, though. That would move him above. We talk about what it would mean for Chase Elliott. Well, Haley would move into the playoffs. Austin Dillon, who's running second, he would jump above. He's not even in the top 20 of points. We have Chase Elliott. So a lot of names at the front of this field that could change the playoff picture.
A win and you advance into the playoffs, which will begin in 8 races. Cleaning the tires off as they come through the Xfinity 10G turn. And those folks enjoying themselves there along Michigan Avenue. Getting ready for the green flag as they get over Jackson Drive and into the restart zone. It is Haley, Dillon, Elliott. Hard onto the gas and onto the front stretch once again. Haley pulling away after a great restart. 3 car lengths ahead of Dillon.
Here they come into turn number 1. Justin Haley away, but here comes Austin Dillon. He's going to send it in a little hard. Right now, he'll be 1, maybe 2 car lengths behind. Very aggressive restart. Austin Dillon into 3, and there's Chase Elliott in the 9. Had trouble earlier today, has rebounded quite nicely. Now inside the top 5.
Justin Haley leads down the back straightaway, locks up the right front tire in the braking zone. Quick through turn 4 into turn 5. Look at these cars sliding out to the brick concrete wall here. Almost hitting the wall there in turn 4, exiting 4, and a traffic jam through turn 5.
And now they will swing wide and set up for the entrance to turn 6. That's the left-hander back onto Balbo. Single file as 1 car spins around. It's Martin Truex Jr. exiting turn number 4, facing the wrong way. Basically facing southbound on the northbound lane. He'll right that car, spin that Toyota around, and then send it back up Columbus Drive as we pick up the leaders in front of Jeff Burton.
Yeah, look at this battle right here. Austin Cindric trying to keep a hard charging Ty Gibbs behind him. Ty Gibbs had a really good day. His very first Xfinity race was on a road course at Daytona, and he got the win. Look at the 2-car sliding around. Here's what happened to Truex. Around he goes in front of the field. Lucky that wasn't a bigger wreck. But we got Bubba Wallace off course over here in front of me. He's in the runoff area. He's trying to work himself back onto the racetrack. He's back on now.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace now making his way up Jackson Drive and has lost quite a few positions. He tucks in behind Blaney as they make the right-hand turn back onto the front stretch. Let's look again at what happened to the 23.
Just got in there a little bit too deep. We've seen multiple people do that. As the track has dried, the braking zone has gotten longer. But if you miss it, it's still wet over here. This is the wettest part of the racetrack. And if you get offline, it's not going to slow down. We've seen other parts of the racetrack. We're actually seeing them lock the front brakes up. That's not going to happen over here. It's too wet.
Leaders now clearing turn number 6, watching everyone set up for this corner as they work their way through turn number 6 and headed back to Michigan Avenue. Daniel Suarez, that's the 99 car. He's got damage to the left front, making contact onto the racetrack, hoping that left front. Oh, and Noah Gragson sends it into 6. Matter of fact, it got locked up, backs it in, spins the car around, tries to right the car. Several drivers coming to grief here in the last handful of laps.
And Noah Gragson, when he comes back to Chicago, he will never drive on Columbus Drive. This might be the worst place for him to go. He's 4 times he has been into the turn 6 tire barriers.
You see the damage right here and what happened. Contact between, I couldn't tell if it was the 1.
Yeah, the 1.
I think the 1 got into the 38. I mean, it's everywhere. Let's look on board with the 1 right here. I can see what Ross is thinking, right? Too wide in front. The 38 has a pretty wide entry. Ross thinks he's going to get into the bottom. Contact to the 38. And then the 42 just misjudges the best I could tell. Misjudges it. He loses control, obviously, but speed seems to be much higher than the cars around him.
Backs it into the tire barriers. And there you see the damage to the left side of the 99 for Daniel Suarez. Suarez trying to get by Hamlin. Right behind them, Eric Jones. Over the bridge and into turn 7. Coming towards you again, Jeff.
Yeah, you have to wonder how long NASCAR will let that 99 car ride around there with that piece of debris hanging off of it. See that dry section of the racetrack? Heading through the loop, now downhill. This heavy braking zone we've seen so many people miss. Look how wet it is.
They slide through 11, back up over the hill, and the right-hander back on the front stretch. It is Justin Haley. He has a good lead over Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott.
It's orientation day. Welcome to the team.
Race. I like this team. Be part of something greater. Toyota. Let's go places.
I need to try it first.
Ashley Stars and Stripes sale is happening now. This weekend only, shop 4th of July doorbusters. Plus get 60-month special financing, and all veterans and active military will receive 10% off their purchase. Shop and save today. Only at Ashley.
You don't have to be in the race to be in the race.
Here comes the 94.
Don't miss your chance to race for the million. Introducing the NASCAR Powerball Playoff.
What a power move.
Enter now for your chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship race at the Phoenix Raceway.
In Phoenix.
With the grand prize winner taking home $1 million. Powerball, the official lottery game of NASCAR, and home to the NASCAR Powerball Playoff.
Advance in Advance Auto Parts. I need that die-hard power. And the reliability and rugged durability, right? Yes. That's why diehards choose Die Hard.
And Advance Auto Parts is the home of Die Hard. We'll even install yours for free.
Hey. Abuela? She makes some of the tamales.
This is how we advance.
For 75 years, you've been here with us. Fans of names and numbers, of family and flags, of sights and sounds and speed. Fans of going fast until there's no more race to run. So to all that love this sport as much as we do, thank you for showing up. Thank you for your devotion. From all of us at NASCAR, thank you.
Do you remember when you were a kid playing with Hot Wheels? Well, they just got a whole lot bigger. Buckle up for an exciting new competition. It's Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge. Tuesdays on NBC and streaming on Peacock. 18 laps remaining from the street course here in Chicago. Justin Haley, after some pit strategy, has found himself out in front. Austin Dillon is a half a second behind. Chase Elliott, 1.4 seconds behind Haley. And then Reddick has been able to clear Kyle Busch. He's running 4th. Here's Christopher Bell getting into the tire barrier in turn 1.
Yeah, it looked like he just getting too hot. And as the car's peeled off, he just way too much speed. There's no other way to put it. You see the contact to the tire barrier. He's able to keep going. You see him.
Treble turn 6. Tyler Reddick is buried into the tire wall. In turn number 6, Tyler Reddick took a wider line coming in. And this portion of the track that he's stuck in is still wet. He's on slicks. He's trying to get traction, and he can't because the pavement's wet. He has buried that Monster Energy Toyota Camry into the safer barrier right here at the end of Columbus Drive.
Caution comes out, and they will have to pull him out from underneath the tire barrier. Tyler Reddick had just made his way up to 4th. He had passed Kyle Busch, and now frustrated with himself. So while they pull him out of the tire barriers, we're going to reset once again and have another reset and restart from the streets of Chicago. Tough break there for Reddick. It's been a full day here in Chicago as you look back there at the Field Museum and home of Sue, who's the largest T-Rex that they have found. And we have had an enjoyable day calling this race radio style, and that means we go from broadcaster to broadcaster. We want to check out the guys that are up on their perches. And Bagman, you may have to call in sick to work tomorrow. You have yelled trouble more than anybody of the broadcast team.
Got news for you, Rick. I'm going to be hitting the old Loon's cough drops tonight to juice up for TMD tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. What I've seen here in turn 6 today is a whole lot of contact into that safer barrier behind me. This is one of those corners that has really been the thorn in a lot of sides today, or in this case, the tire packs have been a thorn in the sides of those race cars. It's been a handful down here, but this race has been amazing to watch, and the fans have enjoyed it here at my end of the racetrack. Dale Jr., what about you?
Yeah, down here in turn 4, I think that, this hasn't been much of a passing zone as we anticipated up until this last stage or these last few laps. We're starting to see some drivers like Tyler Reddick and like Ty Gibbs get more and more desperate. The faster cars that we saw earlier in the race kind of mired back in the backside of the top 10, pushing really hard. They're taking advantage of some opportunities here, sliding tires and all those things getting into turn 4. But heading out of turn 5, down to turn 6, great long straightaway, another passing zone down there near you in turn 6, and then heading over to Jeff Burton.
Yeah, it's been fun for me to watch these drivers adapt as this racetrack has changed. Y'all knew coming here it was a tight racetrack and it was going to be a challenge. It was made even more difficult with the rain. And now the track drying. Where can I push my limits? Where is the speed? And after all of that, we have the top 3 cars. None of these 3 drivers have won a race this year, and all 3 are way out of the points. Any one of these 3 guys wins, they're in the playoffs. And I think that going forward, there's so much on the line. They're going to have to be aggressive if they want to win this race. But we've seen what happens if you get too aggressive.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up too, Jeff. Let's bring in the Peacock Pit Box and DJ and Brad Doherty. Guys, do you think Haley can hold off the hard-charging Dillon, Elliott, and Busch?
Brad, this guy's Justin Haley is a real talent behind the wheel, and he's getting more comfortable in these cars each time that he drives. And he's got a tremendous amount of talent on road course, at a street race this time. I really believe that he has everything that it takes. If he's got enough fuel, they're going to have a hard time getting by.
Well, the thing that we've noticed is you just can't get outside of the dry line at all. There's no grip anywhere. But I'm watching that Chase Elliott. He's really good at the end of these races, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of them we thought didn't know that we're going to be up here in this particular time. Yep. But let's look back exactly what has happened and how we got here a little bit. We can see kind of what towards the end. This was Jenson Button trying to get onto pit lane, but he was really wide there, and Chris Buescher got into him, spun. Joey Logano had to avoid that, but we've seen a little bit of action everywhere.
Yeah, these guys down in turn 6. I mean, poor old Noah Gragson just can't get away from that wall. He's been in there 5 times today, just kept getting into the wall.
Yeah, Martin Truex has not found this to his liking either as things went on. He got into the wall there, and then, I mean, this is a really hard lick. I can't believe that it didn't do more damage there. We can see here, Denny Hamlin just got in way too hard and got into Alex Bowman.
Yeah, both those guys got in there a little bit hot. He didn't mean to get into Alex, but there's nowhere to go. Yeah. And again, it's just a matter of staying inside that line, and then you see the fire there with Alex Bowman.
And we knew this was going to happen at some point in time, and it came right down in front of Jeff Burton. But this became the parking lot that we expected might happen here with something happening on the exit of one of these corners, and about 14 cars involved in all of that.
Yeah, that was a bad one. And then here we go with Truex again. He gets spun around in the middle of the track, goes to the back of the field. Just no luck there. And then we see Gilliland. He gets knocked around there. He gets spun. And then last but not least.
Yeah. Noah back in turn 6 once again. Wendy's is going to have to sponsor that corner down there next year for sure.
Fella. And then what about this guy? They changed the race to 75 laps to go. Christopher Bell gets shuffled back. He starts from 12th. Now all of a sudden his race is over. And then here we go, Rick.
Yeah, unfortunate. Got locked underneath those tire barriers, which we've seen now 3 cars that have done that today with Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, and most recently Christopher Bell in the 20 as they come over the bridge into the restart zone and back into the gas they go. Haley has Dillon all over his back bumper. Dillon trying to get him a little bit loose as they came through 12. Now he's 2 car lengths back, but aggressively attacking after Haley.
Battle for the lead, 15 laps to go. Austin Dillon now into 3, looking to the inside momentarily. He couldn't get the move done in turn 1. Now let's see how it shapes up in 2. Haley into 31, Dillon into 3, now under fire from Chase Elliott and the 9 and others.
Austin Dillon ran offline just a little bit there in turn 2. A lot of lock up over the bumps. Dillon dives down into 4 there, trying to make up a little ground in the braking zone.
Off turn number 4, 5, and now headed to 6. We'll see how this shapes up now as everybody's driving deep into these corners. Here they come. Here come all the leaders now. Hard onto the brakes. Oh, Dillon nails Haley, pushing him through 6, down to the inside. But Haley stayed the course and keeps the lead to 7.
You can see what Austin Dillon is trying to do. He's trying to beat Haley under braking. Austin Dillon in that 3 car is putting a ton of pressure on him. Remember, this area that they are approaching, it is wet down here. While Austin Dillon trying to get to the right of him, no, Haley did a great job of going through the loop better. He has distance on him now. No way Dillon can make a move right here. Haley misses the groove, just a touch. Dillon gets a little bit of a run.
Kyle Busch sliding sideways as he went through turn 11, but they are nose to tail. The top 3 with Haley in front of Austin Dillon. Here you see them coming out of the 10G turn, Xfinity 10G turn, and in through 11. And a little sliding there by the 8s as they're still nose to tail.
Off turn number 1 now, you got the leaders, Haley, Dillon, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano. They are the top 5. There's Logano back there in that yellow car. But how about a rebound for Kyle Busch, Dale? Found the tire barrier in front of me in 6, and now he's running inside of the top 5.
It is real impressive to see the speed out of this car after that crash earlier in the race. Also, Austin Dillon, never thought we'd be seeing him running in 2nd place, putting pressure on Haley here late. He wants to get back to that back bumper, remind him he's there, make him pressure himself into a mistake.
That's what he did the last time through turn 6. Let's see if he turns the wick up again. Dillon's going to come in hot again. He's going to shut it down to about a half a car length. Not as hot as last time through, but Justin Haley doing a great job of keeping the lead here with 14 to go.
He really is, and he's going to have to do a good job. Austin Dillon has worked very hard at becoming a better road racer. He really struggled early in his career. He spent a lot of time in the offseason doing some racing. Knew he had to get better. We run so many road races now, it's required to be good at it. Austin Dillon has put in a ton of work and maybe the most improved road racer on the circuit.
Dillon now a half a car length. We'll see how much pressure he puts on the back of Haley. Oh, he hit the wall. He hit the inside wall and sent him into the tire barriers. We'll see how much damage that has done. It's torn the left front off of Dillon's car. You see the toe link has been bent.
Yeah, this is going to be the end of the day for the 3 car. There's no way he can continue with that much damage on the left front. It all started with contact on the inside of the corner, forcing the 3 straight. He was pushing such pressure on the leader. In the end, a mistake for the 3, Rick.
Take another look at it. He bounces off that inside wall right into the tire barrier and hard contact with the left front. He was just pushing so hard, but right there he clips the wall and into the tire barrier.
And Rick, he can't turn it into turn 1. He just nosed it into the turn 1 barrier. The car won't turn, and now he's blocking turn 1. He's trying to back it up. He's done it a couple of times, and as we see right there with that contact at the other end of the straightaway, now he's just trying to back it up onto pit road and just trying to get out of harm's way.
We stay green. Under 13 laps to go, and he has made it onto pit road. He's backing up there. Now just a 1/10 of a second separating the top 2. Chase Elliott now in a position where he could potentially win his way into the playoffs. Haley out front. Once again through turn 12. But now the closest car to him is Chase Elliott right there. running in the second position. Bush has moved up to third. Logano. Van Gisbergen is running in that 5th spot.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women. We don't have time for lag or buffering.
Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
When you look back on this day, you might remember the heat wave. Or the kiddie pool that definitely looked bigger online. Or a burst of strawberry shortcake flavor and real strawberries swirled into an icy slush, topped with vanilla ice cream and flurries of sweet, crunchy sugar crystals. Greg, however, will never forget the homemade water slide incident. Sonic $2.99 Strawberry Shortcake Snowball Slush Float. Sonic.
Ashley's Stars and Stripes mattress sale is happening now. Right now, you can save up to $500 on new mattress arrivals like the Temper Breeze and Purple Luxe mattresses. Plus, pay 0% interest for 60 months. Shop and save today, only at Ashley.
Time to meet your team.
Who wants to race?
Be part of something greater.
Oh, I'll be gone.
Months into the season, and already a year's worth of drama.
Stop or not.
Oh, trouble. Big names are back doing big things. Even if it's for new teams. While the 24 isn't afraid to wear a couple new hats. And as for the racing, unbelievable. No words needed. It's coming in fast, so better keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, I could get used to this. Ta-da! Get ready for the first ever Team Reba.
Reba McEntire joins John, Niall, and Gwen on The Voice this fall on NBC.
Things are heating up front. Yes, SVG has closed the gap. He's up to third now and the fastest car on the racetrack. There have been issues in turn 1, though.
Yeah, you see the 19 takes the left-hander just too fast, goes by Balicki all the way up and catches the quarter panel of the 4, and then joining them was the 21 of Harrison Burton. Just look at the speed in here.
See the glowing rotors, too, in the 19. The front rotors were glowing orange.
And then you see right there, brake lock up for the 21, the same thing into the tire pack. He was able to pull away, but you said it. Justin Haley leads, Chase Elliott second, but Shane Van Gisbergen is flying a second a lap, now over a second a lap, running the leaders down with 10 to go.
Here he comes out of 5. He's setting up for 6, and he is outbraking the front 2. He is sending that car in about maybe 100 feet deeper than everyone else. He's cleared 6. He's headed downhill to Michigan Avenue at 7.
A great battle here for the lead. You got Haley, who's looking for his second Cup win. Chase Elliott, defending champion. SVG has a ton of championships, 3 supercar championships. This is a great battle. Justin Haley's got his work cut out for him. He's a really good road racer, but he has 2 great ones behind him.
And Dave, it looks like SVG is getting a little more aggressive.
When he was asked after qualifying third for this race if he was feeling comfortable in this new-to-him race car, he said, absolutely not. I am still learning every lap. But the 3-time champion from New Zealand has been learning well. And all through the day, even though he got caught back in traffic, he has been going forward. He's got 16 lap better tires than the
2 cars in front of him, and he thinks he can get him before this is over.
All of Australia and New Zealand, every motorsports fan over there at 11 a.m. right now are tuned in to see if Gisbergen can make the passes needed to be able to get the lead of this race as we close in on the finish. Right there on the back bumper of Chase Elliott off of turn 5. He's got a great run.
Justin Haley, Chase Elliott running for their lives right now. They look in the rearview mirror, and here's SVG looming larger. He's going to ease it into the corner, going to take a peek to the outside just for a moment. You're looking at SVG from Chase Elliott's car. Over the hill, downhill to 7, and right now he's looking for room to race.
Yeah, great battle here. You can see the pressure being put on. A little bit of contact. 91 into the back of the 9 on that previous corner. It's been since 1973. Mark Donahue won Riverside, that a road course ringer came in and took the trophy from these guys. SVG's got a shot.
Haley still out front. Chase Elliott right now almost blocking for Haley as SVG. That's Shane Van Gisbergen trying to get by the 9. He goes to the inside to take a peek. Not close enough, though, as they go into 1.
Here they come off the end of the front straightaway. He's looking for the right moment. Maybe perhaps a slip from Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is conflicted right now. He's trying to go offense, but he's trying to play defense. He'll lose second as SVG is on the move. He'll take the spot.
Gisbergen now in second place. Zeroes in on Haley out front. Haley looks in the mirror and sees a new car. Does that add pressure? Does that push the 31 into a mistake? Look at how much the 91 gains. He's right on the back bumper now out of turn 5.
Here he comes out of 5. This is the potential change for the lead. Justin Haley in the 31. Shane Van Gisbergen now will take a peek. It's not there, but he gets right up on the back bumper of Haley. Battle for the lead and possibly the win. Leaving 6 and headed to turn 7.
Oh, an aggressive move right here down the hill under braking. We got a caution on the racetrack. We're going to have to go back and see where they were lined up before that caution came up.
Just as quickly as the pass was about to happen for the lead, Martin Truex Jr. on the 19 into the tire barriers hard. And so he's stuck in there with under 8 laps to go. It's coming down to, can SVG get by Haley? And so strong.
Well, and the 91's already let the 31 back in front. I think he knows that he hadn't completed the pass. We'll get that confirmed by NASCAR. Oh, yep, NASCAR's confirmed it. Justin Haley will get another shot, but this run by the 91, it's not just the pace of the car, but his nimbleness in traffic. I mean, that was closing in on 2 passes in the same lap.
There you look back on Van Gisbergen, and he looks calm. Well, it looks to me like he's saying, okay, I've done everything I need to do. I'm now in contention to potentially win this race.
Well, he's won 80 supercar races, so he knows how to win. A 3-time champ. This is that Garage 91 entry for Trackhouse. A 3rd entry. Kimi Räikkönen has driven it. Let's see what happened to the 19. Oh, look how bright red the rotors are. Braking issue, loses control in turn 1.
Picture in the NASCAR Cup Series is heating up.
Everyone wants to win at their home track, right? I mean, that's like a dream come true.
How about that, boys? Get right, baby! Woo! Yes! Atlanta!
It's gone a complete 180 from what it used to be. It's a challenging race.
It was chaotic and crazy.
Woo!
In prime time, again, Sunday night, NASCAR will take to what now is the high banks of Atlanta. And can Chase Elliott do it again? Can he repeat? That's one of the great things about Atlanta. It will be the road to the playoffs, and it continues next week.
Yeah, and it's maybe not as unpredictable of a street course as we have never seen, but the finishes at Atlanta continue to fill the highlight reel. Every time we think we know who has an advantage or who looks to be the best car, somebody else pops up.
DeSable Lakeshore Drive has been extremely fast all day. Bumpy as they were racing down into turn 4 from turn 3. That kink in turn 3. And it'll be a handful of laps that will remain. Justin Haley Does he have a chance to hold off Shane Van Gisbergen? Justin Haley has one career win, and it came at really the biggest stage for NASCAR. It was at Daytona. There was a wreck. He was in front when the caution happened. You see him in the 77. And so as everyone came to pit road thinking that the possibility existed they were going to restart, lightning in the area, that severe weather caused him to call the race, and Haley was scored the winner. And so win number 1. Now, could win number 2 be well earned if he's able to hold off the 91?
Well, you heard DJ talk about it, and it's not just the Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett who has mentioned the talent that Justin Haley has. Now, I think of him instantly as like a super speedway racer. So maybe next week in Atlanta, just because he was so good at that discipline in the Xfinity Series. But he's had some real highlights, you know. Second year now with Colleague. There's Matt Colleague right there. He owns Colleague Racing that has cars that race both on Saturday in the Xfinity Series and Sunday here in the Cup Series. But I will tell you, if you said, hey, a Colleague car is leading here at a road course, I would have said A.J. Allmendinger.
Yes.
Not Justin Haley, but Haley has done a very nice job. Dave.
So what a great opportunity for Shane Van Gisbergen and the 91 Project 91 car. It's his product of Trackhouse Racing. That's the team that entertainer Pitbull and Justin Marks co-own. This project was put together to get championship drivers from other areas to come in and race, be a part of NASCAR. I'm not sure anyone thought they could go to victory lane, but Shane Van Gisbergen certainly can because of his championship experience, and now because of the experience he's had here today. Project 91, second place and going for 1.
It'll be 5 laps to go. Haley with Van Gisbergen right behind him, and we've seen what kind of pressure SVG has put on racers to make them make mistakes. Can Haley be mistake-free for 5 more laps? Through the restart zone they go. 5 to go here in Chicago. A car length, now 2 in front of the 91 is Haley. He's going to have to be perfect.
Here he comes into turn number 1. Haley so far so good. Slips just a tad off the corner. But here he comes. Battle for the lead. Shane Van Gisbergen to the inside and to the lead off turn 2 with less than 5 to go here in Chicago.
But Haley is right there. He's coming back to the inside through turn 3. He's going to retake the lead. The 91 back to the inside into turn 4. The crossover move. He is now clear into the lead. Gisbergen off at turn 5. Down the long straightaway.
He's got wide open racetrack to work with and no pressure from behind because he's going to pull away by 1, maybe 2 car lengths. It's Van Gisbergen with the lead. They're stacked up from second on back as everybody jostles for real estate. Van Gisbergen to the lead here in Chicago.
Van Gisbergen.
SVG holding on to that top spot as Haley now has fallen back 8/10, now 9/10 of a second. The 91 with a hard right turn through turn 11. Coming up on 4 laps to go. What an impressive performance we have seen out of the New Zealander.
Here he comes off the end of the front straightaway, and he's slowly starting to check out. Justin Haley's opportunity is fading to try to win this race this afternoon, and here he comes. SVG out of 2 into the right-hander. Here he comes now, racing his way up Lakeshore Drive to 3.
Look at the replay of this battle up front. They head into turn 2. Van Gisbergen goes to the inside here. He's passed this way before, knows how to make that happen, but Justin Haley, hey, I'm proud of him, man. He brought the fight back to the 91 here down this straightaway. Through turn 3, offline, the 91 does the crossover move into turn 4. A great job out braking, just too much speed, too much talent for that 31 and Justin Haley. Now Haley under attack from Chase Elliott and a lot of other cars back there.
Van Gisbergen is just driving away. He had the fastest car by far. He was about a second a lap faster as he was running down the 31 of Haley and the 9 of Elliott. And once he got clear, he is driving away. I do not expect a mistake from this guy. He is experienced. He's used to winning big races. This will be huge for his career if he can finish it off. But he has been in this moment before.
So many big moments for drivers that have come into this series and their first start. You look back, 1949, of course, Jim Roper, Charlotte Speedway. It's back when NASCAR started. 49, 50, 50. So many early drivers in their first start, but that was back when NASCAR was young. Now, 75 years in, and Van Gisbergen could be added to that list as winning his first start in the Cup Series.
Gisbergen in the 91 driving away. Haley keeping a comfortable distance between him and Chase Elliott off into turn 4. Larson a little ways back from Chase Elliott. He has company from Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric, McDowell, Logano, Gibbs, Almirola, your top 10.
Kyle Busch really hanging it out there coming out of turn number 5 as they race their way into turn number 6. That's the gap for the lead as they race their way into the corner. Everybody just trying to get to the finish unscathed as they leave 6 and go downhill to turn 7.
It's 1:14 p.m. on Monday in New Zealand. Not far from being at a party. They're going to have a great time, a lot of national pride, watching this race car driver take the fight to NASCAR's best. He's been impressive all weekend. Practice, qualifying, and now the race. He is cruising away from him.
Yeah, and a very humble race car driver. We talked to him before the race. He was so humble, saying, you know, I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
Yeah, potential first win for the driver, but it would be the 24th win for the crew chief. Darian Grubb on the pit box. He has won with the likes of Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Casey Mears. An amazing list of drivers for that crew chief now trying to take a first-timer to victory lane.
You think about the drivers that have came from that supercar V8 discipline. Marcus Ambrose has to be watching, smiling, thinking about his time in the NASCAR Cup level and the success he had.
Turn number 1, Bubba Wallace into Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and into the tire pack. Stenhouse goes. Bubba came in way too hot, clipped Stenhouse, and Stenhouse has buried that Chevy into the tire pack. That's off the end of the front straightaway.
And it looks as though he's stuck. Sure enough, the caution comes out. And the driver did not get the white flag that's out front. That is the only way that the race could be over if a caution comes out with under 1 to go. But that means we'll go into overtime. So a little more racing for the fans here in Chicago and those of you watching. Look at this as Bubba in the 23 slid into the 47. The 47 gets locked underneath the tire barrier. It's in turn 1.
Yeah, Bubba just completely out of line. Drivers left. I don't know if the track was still damp or if he was just out of control, but you see him coming in with a head of speed, already spinning out. Ricky Stenhouse probably has no idea what happened. KO'd from the side, and he ends up, here you go, take a look right here from on board with Kevin Harvick. Big impact for the 47 and the 23.
Sun setting here on Chi-Town, the Windy City, and just a couple laps remain. It will be overtime for the NASCAR Cup Series in their first ever street course race. And we want to hear from the guys who have been calling it from the different turns around this track. Are any of the three of you amazed at what we're seeing out of the New Zealander? I'll start with you, Mike.
It is amazing what this driver has done. He's getting ready to make history, as we've documented here a few moments ago. But it's been a long time since a road course ringer has gone to victory lane, and especially in his first ever start in this series. It's been amazing to watch him do it so smooth, but yet all aggressive at the same time. Dale Jr., what about you?
Yeah, the Giz, as he's known to all those fans in V8 Supercar, has done an amazing job, and I'm not surprised because, as I was saying before the caution, Marcus Ambrose came here, adapted really quickly. I think the V8 Supercars are very, very comparable to what we race here, even now with this next-gen car more closely resembling each other. So no surprise to me. V8 Supercar is NASCAR to what NASCAR is in the U.S. to Australian and New Zealand fans. So It's awesome to see, though, and hopefully we have a spectacular finish, and that will be a popular win if he makes it happen, Burton.
Yeah, I think one of the things that will be difficult for him is this late race restart. However, what he does have going for him is that Australian Supercar is an aggressive series. They get after it. They race hard, and they are not open-wheel cars. They're closed cars like these are with fenders. So they know how to race. They know how to be rough when they need to be. So I don't think this moment is too big for him. However, there's some people behind him that are very, very hungry that a win could be career-changing. What are people willing to do this late in the race?
Yeah, that's correct. And they look similar to what we're seeing here. Obviously, the wing on the back, though. These are supercars, and this is what Shane van Gisbergen has been able to be so successful in.
Yeah, a few different aerodynamic changes. You mentioned the wing, but also they have the windows. He said earlier in pre-race that it's a little odd driving with open side windows. I've never thought of that before. I've never seen very many cars, Dave, with both windows closed on each side, but a very impressive run thus far.
Well, remember, this is a left drive car. That is a right drive car, so this is brand new to him too. And Jeff Burton nailed it. Think of the drivers behind him who want to win. They talked to Shane about it on the radio.
The two cars behind you are desperate for a win, for a point situation for the playoffs, so just be prepared for that. You've been doing awesome. Copy. Is it the 31 then the 9 again? Correct.
And then they talked to him about an issue he thought he had when the caution came out. He thought he had a motor problem. He reported data back to the team as he could. A lot of things went through Shane's mind then, and the crew chief told him, Darian Grubb said, don't get paranoid. Your car is fine. Steve, these drivers have heard things clicking in their cars or clanking in their cars when they're on the way to victory. Shane's trying to get that out of his head and hold off the guys behind him.
Well, the man has won 80 supercar races, 3 championships, so he is a closer without a doubt. Left drive and right drive, real simple. Where do you sit? Anybody that's ever been to England, they sit on the wrong side of the car. That's what we say. Well, so think about that. He's shifting with his right hand in that supercar, shifting with his left. So, I mean, it's not a small change for him, but he has really adapted and adapted quickly. Now he has to adapt to NASCAR overtime. One good thing in his corner, the single file restarts that we've seen all day will make it a whole lot easier than if it was double file. But there's still 12 very tricky corners in front of him and a bunch of hungry drivers behind him.
Yeah, you mentioned the restart rules and the overtime. And, Steve, the other question is Haley and Elliott, do they have enough fuel?
Well, it's going to be very close, right? Because these laps, once we go into overtime, they don't really count towards the distance of the race. So Haley and Elliott, 45 laps on the tank. Now, a bunch of that is yellow. But still, do you get a little stumble? Does it not pick up? That could be an advantage for the 91. It could be a detriment to someone like Larson, right? Does he hit him in the back or does he get by? We've seen some good lap times out of Larson. You wonder if he could clear them quickly. Could he challenge?
All right, DJ, Brad, do you guys think the 91 rises to the occasion?
This is phenomenal. I mean, you guys have documented what you've seen. We haven't seen this before. Somebody come in and be as aggressive and as dominant as what he has been coming up through the pack. That was so impressive getting to the front.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I had the good fortune of having a V8 supercar driver in my car, in Marcus Ambrose, and won some Xfinity races for my race team. So I know how talented these young men are. So we're going to watch a great one here, Rick.
And when the restart happens, overtime rules are they will go 2 laps. If they get back to the white flag without a caution, then the next flag that flies would end the race, and they will go to video to determine who is in front if that comes into question. And you see the city street lights, they are on, and the field making their way down Michigan and now to Jackson Drive into the restart zone. SVG trying to make history here in Chicago. It's overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. Down into turn 1 they go.
Here they come with less than 2 laps to go. SVG away with the lead by a car length, maybe 2. You got Haley, you got Elliott, and now Kyle Larson's in the mix. They're all stacked up right behind him, but in command and pulling away is Shane van Gisbergen to turn 3.
And the battle now is for 3rd, 4th, 5th. You see those cars close together. Down into turn 4. No lockups. Everybody getting through here really cleanly in this. Coming to the white flag, the 91 easily out front of the field.
This has been one of the smoothest parts of the racetrack. When he leaves turn 5 and comes down Columbus Drive and sets up for the left-hander into turn 6. He drives it in deep, but he's very smooth. He'll clip that inside, swing it wide, and head downhill to Michigan Avenue.
Steve mentioned it, the advantage of having a single file restart. It allowed a very calm restart. SVG got a great restart, drove away from Haley, and now he just has to focus out front. He's driven far enough away where Haley cannot outbrake him. It is now mistake-free time. Do not get yourself in trouble. Do not overdrive. Just keep pace with the car behind you.
And he hasn't pulled away from Haley yet.
5 back, all clear.
5 back, you just heard that from the spotter. Van Gisbergen out of turn 12, coming up to see the white flag. One more time around this street course in Chicago.
Here they come into turn number 1. Does Justin Haley or Chase Elliott, number 1, have enough fuel in the tank? And do they have enough to get to the back bumper of that 91 car? Here he is, right-hander, turn 2 for the final time.
You see the gap right there, pulling away down the back straightaway, cleanly through turn 3. Full throttle into the braking zone, over the hump. A lock up by the 31 back there. Gisbergen through 4, through 5. Smoothly onto the throttle. Good corner exit. Headed back to you.
He will swing wide out of 5. He'll set up and go right to the middle of the racetrack and go driver's right now. Hard braking, downshifting. He's going to drive it in way deep, and he'll pull away from Haley even more. He'll leave turn 6 downhill to Michigan Avenue for the final time this evening in Chicago.
Trackhouse racing drivers have been part of huge and great memories from Chastain to Martinsville to this. It's not over yet, but it's really close.
The 75th anniversary of NASCAR, and it has been 60 years since a driver has won in their series debut. Well, through turn 11, Shane Van Gisbergen has been perfect. He has navigated the streets of Chicago to perfection. The final time, onto the front stretch. He comes to the checkered flag. He's won the very first street race in NASCAR.
Thank you, guys.
Back-to-back wins for Trackhouse Racing. A victory lap now for the 91. And the fans showing their appreciation all the way around this course. A 3-time champion of the Supercars. The checkered flag moment brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The 34-year-old from New Zealand. We mentioned earlier if he could add his name to the list, well, he has done it. 60 years since Johnny Rutherford did it at Daytona back in 1963. He wins in his first career Cup Series start. Only 7 drivers in the history, in the 75-year history of the sport, have been able to do it. And we saw it here, and it just shows the talent of his discipline that he is able to wheel a car around a street course.
And he just did it with absolute precision and raw speed. As you see Daniel Suarez coming up to congratulate his fellow Trackhouse driver.
How will he celebrate? That's the question. You know, we see burnouts. We see, so many different things. Last week, it was throwing a watermelon onto the racetrack.
I'm confident to say we're not going to see a watermelon.
We're not going to see a watermelon.
That I'm willing to rule out, but so impressive. And it just shows you where NASCAR is in global motorsports, right? What a great... Here's your answer, Rick.
Columbus Drive has never seen such an impressive show of power.
Welcome to America, Shane Van Gisbergen. What a run for this young man. I was talking with his good buddy, fellow Kiwi, and IndyCar driver Scott McLaughlin. He said he's one of the smartest race car drivers I've ever had to compete against. And I think he's ready for a little celebration. Let's be honest, Shane. When this deal came together, did you honestly feel like this was possible?
No, of course not. But you always dream of it. And thank you so much to the Trackhouse team, Enhance Health, Project 91. Man, what an experience in the crowd out here. Like, this was so cool. And it's what you dream of. So hopefully I can come and do more.
What were you telling yourself on those final few restarts?
Well, when we had that bad strategy back to 18th, I started to worry a bit, but had some full sends on some people, and the racing was really good. Everyone was respectful, and it was tough, but a lot of fun.
It's Monday back in Auckland, but I'm sure there's a party going on at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What would your message be to all those young drivers back there in Australia and New Zealand?
Oh, anything is possible, but, you know, the fans in Australia and New Zealand, the response this week and the coverage has been... I can't explain it, like the response and the support I've got from everyone, and even over here, how welcoming everyone is. I can't believe it. Dream come true.
So you know everybody's going to want you to drive their car now. Are you up for a full-time Cup ride if you want?
I'm doing one more year in Oz, and then I'd love to come over here.
There you go, 1 more year in Australia, and then he might come Cup racing with us, Rick. Look at this crowd here on the front stretch in Chicago, and the fans in the stands as well. SVG gets the win. The Kiwi is a Cup winner.
And a popular one at that, as Shane Van Gisbergen will be heading to Ruoff Victory Lane. Once he got out front, it was dominant. No mistakes made. And you see how he celebrates Ross Chastain, his teammate for a day, cheering him on. Much more to come from the streets of Chicago. Stay with us.
Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's stands tall in our unwavering commitment to honoring our heroes. We extend our gratitude beyond words by proudly offering a legendary salute discount to those who protect our freedoms. Our dedication to those who selflessly serve us runs deep within our DNA. It's not just a discount, it's a commitment to making a difference. Because every day is a chance for us to say thank you. Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.
Right now, get a free footlong at Subway, like the Subway Series menu. Buy 1 footlong in the app, get 1 free. For free. That's what I'm talking about. Order in the Subway app today.
The Barn Bar. The county's best hangout just got better. Here's to living smooth with the always smooth, easy drinking Keystone Light.
The NASCAR America Post-Race Show presented by Progressive. And a reminder, our post-race coverage continuing on Peacock, where each week we'll bring you the NASCAR America Post-Race Show presented by Progressive. Steve, you mentioned some of the more beautiful sights here in the city of Chicago, the Chicago River, Lake Michigan, Grant Park, but probably the best sight for the New Zealander has to be the celebration right at the finish line and seeing the checkered flag in his first ever Cup Series start.
Yeah, his performance really from the drop of the green flag in practice. He continued to jump to the top of the time charts as everybody got more and more comfortable. But pre-race, he told us, nah, that was just my comfort with the streets. Everyone else will close in on me. Well, I appreciate the humility, but in the end, it was just raw speed and that experience and talent in street racing that paid the difference. I mean, you heard him all the way back to 18th. He moved his way on a track where we thought passing was difficult. He went from 18th to 1st over those closing laps. And here it comes from social media, IndyCar driver.
Yeah, Scott McLaughlin.
Yes.
He's very happy. I'm going to paraphrase.
Yes.
Enjoy every moment, brother. New Zealand represent emotional. And we had heard from Dale Jr. He's got friends in Australia and New Zealand. And, you know, at the very beginning of this race, they were just so proud of what SVG has been able to do and what he's shown America, just even in practice and qualifying. And then what he's able to accomplish here by winning this race.
Winning it, and think of the position he was in. Obviously faster and never even touched the first two cars on his way by, right? Did it with such respect. With everything on the line, he raced. There's Darian Grubb, the crew chief, joining him right here. You know, he raced everybody with so much respect, understanding that it was kind of the new guy on the scene, but even that wasn't going to slow this 91 down.
Dave Burns, Justin Haley really shouldn't have anything to hang his hat about. He had an exceptional performance here in this street course race and winded up second.
Justin Haley had the unenviable task of trying to hold off a three-time Supercars champion with 16 lap less fresh tires. Talk us through the final laps there.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. I put it in the tire barrier yesterday, and we stayed up all night. I stayed with the guys through the rain and rewrapped this thing, put a new body on it, and Benish came on for this weekend. Obviously, congrats to Project 91. It sucks. Obviously, you know, where we are right now, we don't have we aren't in position to win every week. So coming that close, obviously, is not what you want. But just really proud of everyone at College Racing, and what an awesome event. Can't wait to come back next year.
Once your crew chief Trent told you were okay on fuel, what clicked in your head then to just try and go get it? Because you had no idea where Van Giesbergen was.
Yeah, I mean, I was really struggling under the braking zones. Felt like I could get off the corner better than anyone, but I mean, what are you going to do? You had 16 lap fresher tires. Just strategy, and I feel like I put us behind yesterday, putting it in the tire barrier, and then from there it just kind of trickles and whatnot. But I mean, what is there to be disappointed about, you know? So we'll go to Atlanta next week, try our best. Appreciate College Racing, Matt Colley, Chris Rice for giving me this opportunity, and trying to make the best of it.
And Justin Haley showed what a good street racer he really is today.
They're still trying to get the car restarted. Maybe burned it down a little too much there on that celebration.
It's done its job at this point.
Well, Progressive NASCAR America post-race show coverage continuing on Peacock. Well, let's bring in our guys that were up on their perches throughout this entire race and give us an overall view of the street race in Chicago.
Rick, it was amazing. Wow. Unbelievable. Earlier today, we didn't know if we were going to get going today, but I would say this is a big success. Pete Pistone and I are going to have a lot to talk about on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio tomorrow morning. Thumbs up. This was spectacular and something to remember for a long, long time. Dale Jr., what about you?
I wonder how Gisbergen will rank this in his own career. 3 Bathurst 1000 wins among his many V8 Supercar wins. Just a dream night, dream evening for him, as he said. And what will Justin Marks do next with this 91? We've got some more road course races coming up. Who else might we see in this car with the potential to come in here and shock the sport?
Yeah, Justin Marks has been willing to shake up the sport, do things differently, and he's had success doing it. And I got to tell you something. The industry, NASCAR, Chicago, the teams, everybody involved having the courage to do something different. Come to the streets of Chicago. Whoever questions that race, that was a good race. It was fun. It was a great time. Congratulations to everybody, because that was a fun few days here in Chicago.
And I want to mention Julie Giesi's name. She is the president of this street course race for NASCAR to come in here and do what they've been able to do. I'll echo the sentiments that we just heard. A resounding yes, this was a huge success.
And thank you to the Chicago fans, because there were a lot of reasons weather-wise why today wouldn't be the day that you would come to Grant Park and see your first ever NASCAR race, but they did. They filled the place top to bottom, every straightaway, every fence line, and that is what really set the stage for this amazing performance by this driver.
Not only the straightaways and the trees, the light poles, but also in the buildings surrounding the whole course. You had people on the roofs. You had people looking through the windows. They were able to get through the torrential rain that took place, the record-setting rain from this morning. And then the racing just continued to get better lap after lap after lap. Although some had troubles getting through those tire barriers, in the end, it was Shane Van Gisbergen who gets the checkered flag. Post-race coverage will continue on Peacock. Coming up next on NBC, it's America's Got Talent.